My oaths betray each other till there's nothing left to keep.
Only Us by Miracle of Sound. Alright, and welcome back to the Shardbreaker podcast. This is episode 18, our final episode of The Way of Kings from the Stormlight Archive. We read from chapter 69 through to the epilogue. And yeah, let's get right into it. Oh, fuck, I'm Midnight, I'm your host, and I'm here with...
Let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into
I'm
it.
here with Mythic.
Hi.
And Darkness.
Hello.
You forgot us under the cardigan, guys.
No! Alright, so we start with chapter 69, which is called Justice. We got a picture. I forgot to set up the picture.
Oh, wow, really? I didn't get pictures? Down.
I forgot the final picture.
I forgot.
Yeah,
Got
it's,
the first
No, wait, that was the
heck
last.
is
That's the
this?
wrong one. That's the one from last time.
The heck is this?
That's the wrong one. That's the one we got
It's
last
literally
time.
right above us.
I know. I'm like,
There we
what
go.
the
There's
heck
the correct
is
one.
this?
Oh, that! I got that for the last one.
Yeah, no, this is the one right before chapter 69.
That's literally what I saw right at the end of reading it.
But this is the charcoal rubbing of a relief of Nalana Lin, carved on the wall of His Majesty Elokar Kolin's palace at the Shattered Plains, circa 1173.
Know what they talked about? Like, I heard them talking about that. I don't know.
So this is the guy or who the guy claims to be, with wit.
Yeah. Yep, that's totally...
But
that's
he's bald as
Dalinar,
fuck.
for sure.
So we get, I think our final epigraph.
I'm assuming... Oh,
Sorry, go
fuck,
ahead.
we can't
It
even
is our
talk about
final
it.
epigraph. You're not wrong.
So our final epigraph is, all is withdrawn for me. I stand against the one who saved my life. I protect the one who killed my promises. I raise my hand, the storm responds. Tenatanev, 1173, 18 seconds pre-death, a dark-eyed mother of 4 in her 62nd year. So what do you think about this person going against the person who saved their life and protecting the one who killed their promises?
They're attacking Seth. It's all Seth's fault.
Repeat it.
All is the question or the epigraph?
The epigraph.
All is withdrawn for me. I stand against the one who saved my life. I protect the one who killed my promises. I raise my hand. The storm responds. That's like what the person said.
That's... Okay. Maybe it has to do with... that's scary if it's... Shit. If it's like a future thing, but with Kaladin. And it's signed about him and Dalinar.
No, I think it's about Seth.
Actually, that could be true, yeah.
No, I think it's about Seth.
It's very possible.
I mean, that thought only comes after we've read the whole thing. But
Yeah.
still, I think it's about Seth.
So we start this chapter with Navani's point of view, which is our only Navani POV we get in this book, as she pushes her way past the guards, trying to remain calm as she makes her way towards Sadeas's war camp. As she walks with purpose through the war camp, she can't help but notice how disorganized it is compared to Dalinar's war camp. As she gets closer to the staging area, she notices that Sadeas's men barely look like they've been in battle, as they are cheerful and have no blood on their uniforms. She soon sees Sadeas and also sees that he seems completely unharmed and his shardplate is unbroken. Sadeas's men block Navani from going up to Sadeas so that they can let him know of her arrival. Navani waits impatiently, thinking that in the past she would have done things correctly, but all that had gotten her was a dead husband whom she had never loved, and a position where no one spoke to her. Renan arrives while she waits and joins her as she is allowed to go see Sadeas. When she makes her way over to him, he states that he is sorry about the loss of her brother. Navani tries to ignore the denial and pain inside her as she demands that Sadeas explain. He tells her that the Proshendi seemed threatened by them working together and brought every one of their warriors and overwhelmed Dalinar's forces. He insists that he would have fought to get Dalinar if he hadn't seen the Proshendi carrying away chunks of his bloody shardplate. So what do you think about...
When he said that, I swear to God, I was like, bitch, you are going to be in such big trouble when he shows up and is not dead.
Right, with his shardplate intact.
Yeah, I'm like,
But yeah, what did you think of this lie here? Because yeah, it's definitely a lie that, like, it makes it harder for, if Dalinar survives, for him to, like, get away with it.
Yeah. Oh, man, I just don't understand why he chose to go that route. But I mean, he's also not the smartest of people, so kind of makes sense.
Also, the fact that he chose the wording brother kind of made me feel uncomfortable.
I have a feeling he chose it specifically because I feel like he knows that there's, like, how Navani feels about him. So he's like, I'm so sorry about your brother. her.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that's what I was thinking.
with all that incest you're doing.
So Navani refuses to believe that Sadeas has said believe what Sadeas has said, and she notices Renarin shaking as he sits down. If she accepts that Dalnar is gone, it means Renarin is now High Prince. Navani then also notices that all of the bridges are back.
Are you gonna fuck him too?
She then asks for a brush pen and burn ink, and begins to draw a large glyph on the ground, as Dalnar had no daughters nor a wife to pray for him. She uses 4 bottles of ink before completing the glyph for justice. She then burns it as she prays. Someone anxiously calls for Sadeas, but Navani ignores what is happening, still kneeling on the ground. Renarin walks over to her and places a hand on her shoulder as he thanks her for drawing the glyph. After a moment, she stands and goes to see what all of Sadeas' soldiers are looking at. She glances out over the shattered plains, Renarin hurrying over beside her, and she sees a line of limping men led by a man in grey shardplate.
Oh, I wonder who that could be.
So what do you think about Navani burning a prayer glyph for Dalnar and her choice of the justice glyph?
I mean, it makes sense. She wanted justice for him.
What do you think, Darkness?
Who knows? Maybe that's what he's gonna stand for, like Kaladin does with honor.
So we switch to Dalnar's point of view as he rides at the front of his 2,500 men, which is all that is left of his initial 8,000. He was wearing one of Adolin's gauntlets since he had lost one of his in the fight and had infused as much stormlight as they had into his plate so that it healed a bit before he confronted Sadeas. Dalnar wants to declare war on Sadeas, but he knows he is too weakened after losing so many men, and it would be bad for Alethkar, so revenge will have to wait. Dalnar thinks
I think Kaladin could have taken them all, so.
Depends how much stormlight they could get him.
Even without Stormlight, I think he destroys Sadeas' army.
There's an army full of rich people, bruh. Like,
Yeah, but apparently they gave a bunch of stormlight to Dalnar for his shard plate.
that's true. So absorb the shit from the shard plate. Would
Uh,
that work?
Possibly. I don't. Yeah, I guess it
I
would.
mean, just give Kaladin the Shard Plate and Shard Blade, and then, you know.
Okay,
also-
but
Well,
if you
Phil
give
doesn't like the
him-
shard blade.
Well, she doesn't.
Well, I wonder why.
Okay, but like, if you do give him the shard like plate,
hmm
would he just absorb the shit from the plate and make it useless?
That's a very good question. Depends how good he is at controlling what stormlight he takes in. Because if he can't control where he's getting the stormlight from, then yeah, he'd probably just like absorb it all, and then he'd be like stuck in like armor that doesn't move.
But he still would be able to move it, considering that it strengthens him.
I think it's really hard to move in it no matter how strong you are.
No, but like, really with Stormlight strengthening stuff?
He might break it if he tried to move it at that point. I don't know.
That's
After
weird.
all, Kaladin is super strong, you know.
But Dalnar thinks briefly about the fact that his visions lied to him about whether he should trust Sadeas, but decides that he'll need to worry about that later and not for now. Dalnar then tells Elthal, one of his remaining high-ranked officers, to bring the wounded back to his camp, and then get the rest of camp ready for anything to happen, although hopefully nothing will. Dalnar then goes over to Kaladin and his bridgemen, who form a slightly hostile formation when they see him, as they obviously don't trust him. He tells Kaladin that he and his men should go back to his war camp with the wounded. However, Kaladin says that if Dalnar is confronting Sadeas, he is going to stay. The rest of Bridge 4
Yeah.
quickly insist on staying as well. So what do you think about Kaladin and Bridge 4 insisting on staying with Dalnar instead of going back to Dalnar's war camp?
I mean, they do everything that Kaladin does, so.
You mean Sadeas' work camp?
No, Dalnar told him to go back to his war camp, Dalnar's, with all his
Right.
wounded soldiers.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he pays a heavy price for him, so, you know.
To be fair, I don't think Kaladin took it in this way, but I personally would have taken it as like, I need to make sure you keep your promise, you know?
I think that's
But
part
I mean,
of
I
why
guess he
Kaladin
was
stays.
skeptical regardless, because he didn't really expect him to
Yeah,
while he was doing it. But
the whole time, Kaladin's like, okay, now's when he breaks his promise. Now's when he breaks his promise.
yeah.
And he's like, oh wait, what, the shard blade? What? Excuse me?
Yeah, that's what I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I don't think Kaladin can even ever think differently now. Like, this man handed them.
Yeah, I
something
think
that is worth a
Kaladin's at the point where
fortune.
he's like, oh shit, Elidas was actually honorable. Like, he actually kept his promise.
I still think Kaladin's going to remain hesitant, but
Yeah, I think he probably considers Dalnar a singular exception, that he still doesn't know how he's going to react to everything, but he's like, okay, he's definitely some sort of exception. So Kaladin tells his men that he should send them back, but they insist that they have men back in Sadeas' camp that they need to get, that they need to stick together. Dalnar is impressed by their discipline, and he's certain that Kaladin is responsible for that, not Sadeas. As they approach the final chasm, 1,000 of his men break off to go to his own war camp. However, the rest, along with Bridge 4, follow Dalnar and Adolin. Adolin quickly spots Navani and Renarin waiting for them, causing him to smile. Once they cross the chasm, Dalnar gets off of his saddle and embraces Renarin, who is showing outright joy as he hugs his father. Renarin then goes to embrace Adolin as Dalnar asks Navani if she was even worried. to which she replies that she was terrified. Dalinar then embraces Navani, saying he doesn't care if others see and that he thought he was going to die. He then says when he thought he would die, he was happy with his life, but he had 2 regrets. One was for Renarin, and one was for her. Dalinar says he's going to stop letting himself be pushed around by lying men, and that he thinks he's on the verge of learning something from his most recent vision with Noadon. What do you think about Dalinar openly embracing Navani and no longer caring to hide their relationship?
Man, how long was this? How long from like when they did it to now? Like what? Less than a month?
Yeah, it's probably like a month or less than a month.
Yeah, like and you now you choose to do this? Okay. I mean, come on. You've been having sex with your sister.
I don't know. They definitely have not done that yet.
They've definitely done it.
They
I don't know
definitely
what
have
you're talking
not.
about. They definitely have. Like
I-
definitely. Kissing definitely leads to that. You know.
I don't want to hear that again.
So Dalinar then releases Navani, noting Adolin and Renarin watching them uncomfortably. He then begins walking towards Sadeas' camp, Adolin coming up to one of his sides and Navani to his other. Renarin followed just behind them, with their troops behind him, with Bridge 4 at the front. Dalinar tells Adolin that this will not come to blows, and just to keep his sword as mist. Dalinar approaches Sadeas, who is standing in the middle of the burned Justice Glyph. So what do you think about the imagery of Sadeas standing on top of the burned Justice Glyph?
He's stepping on justice.
Wait, how'd it get burnt?
Because that's how you
Burned
do
it.
prayers. You use like a special
Right.
ink that you then burn.
Yeah, you know, and then it creates an imprint wherever you burned it. A little burn scorch mark.
But yeah, what did you think, Darkness, about Sadeas standing on top of justice?
I wonder what that could mean. He would never oppose them, right?
Sadeas greets Dalinar, calling him old friend, and saying that he'd been wrong about Dalinar having been defeated, and that he'd been thinking of his men when retreating. Dalinar replies that Sadeas did what he needed to. Dalinar then waves his men back a bit, and Sadeas does the same as they get close to each other so no one else could hear them. Dalinar asks why Sadeas did it, and Sadeas replies it was because of his oath. He says they promised to protect Elhokar and his kingdom when Gavilar died, and that Dalinar is becoming weak like Gavilar was. Sadeas says he could defeat the Parshendi on his own, using the tactics they had when working together with 2 of his own forces. He also says that Elhokar is emulating Dalinar and that Sadeas needed Dalinar gone, and that was his main reason. However, he does still think Dalinar is going mad, and that he gave Dalinar a way to die with honor today. So what do you think about Sadeas' reason for betraying Dalinar?
I mean, makes sense.
I don't believe it.
Man, do you believe anything that comes out of his lying mouth anymore?
No.
I
Yeah.
do think Sadeas is being honest here. I do believe that
You
he's
know more, so
yeah. I think that Sadeas is like because like the whole thing was that like Dalinar has said in the past that him and Sadeas have been old friends. Sadeas was also friends with Gavilar, and so like Sadeas just has a very different way of thinking of how to avenge Gavilar than Dalinar does. And Sadeas thinks that Dalinar is going to hinder their efforts to like
But
win
he
the war.
spoke about his brother like it wasn't even like, somebody he wanted to be friends with anyway.
Well, Sadeas seems to think that, and I think Dalinar has mentioned it too, how Gavilar was acting strange leading up to his death. Like he was acting different than he used to.
It's excuses, bro.
I'm with you. I'm not liking him, so
I'm not saying you need to like him. I'm just saying I do think he's being truthful here. It just doesn't mean it's the right thing.
I mean, it's correct in his mind, I'm sure,
hmm
And how would you know he's being truthful, huh?
because she knows more than we do. Darkness.
Clearly she doesn't if she doesn't tell us.
I mean, she doesn't tell us doesn't mean she doesn't know.
Mm-mm. That's how it works. Everybody knows that.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
So Dalinar asks why Sadeas didn't pin the assassination attempt on him if he wanted him gone, and Sadeas replies that no one would really believe that Dalinar had tried to assassinate Elhokar. Sadeas then says he thinks Elhokar knows who tried to assassinate him, but won't tell Sadeas a name. Sadeas then says today was
God, when he that caught me off guard so much.
yeah. Sadeas then says today was a wonderful opportunity, although he had planned it, but he doesn't always go forward with his plans. Today he did. Dalinar then tells Sadeas that he showed him something today, that Dalinar is still a threat. So do you agree that Sadeas considers Dalinar a threat?
Yes.
Sure. He went through all that trouble, bro.
So we move to Kaladin's point of view as he watches Dalinar and Sadeas talk quietly to each other. He can see Metal nearby, watching Kaladin and Bridge 4 with a red face. Just briefly, you think Metal's gonna get executed now? Cause he's
Oh yeah, they're
Kaladin.
gone.
Metal's like, I fucked up so bad. His wife's gonna be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
We never found out what happened to that one dude, did we?
So we never found out what happened to Gaz, but Metal's technically in Lamaryl's position, and Lamaryl was the guy above Gaz. They just never replaced Gaz when he disappeared, which was like an in-between Dark-Eyed rank, between the Light-Eyed rank and the Bridgeman.
Still have the theory that Gaz is gonna show up and is gonna be a part of whatever Bridge 4 becomes.
Where was I? So Kaladin thinks.
I just want a redemption arc for Gaz, to be honest.
Fair
They
enough.
could be lovers.
Oh God.
I mean, he was slimy and like not the best of people, but he really didn't do that much, like, unredeeming shit. Like,
Yeah, and it seemed like he was kind of stuck in his position where
yeah,
he
and
was
he's
like,
kind of trying to do whatever he can to help Kaladin. So
yeah, well, he was kind of trying to do whatever he could to like help himself not become a bridgeman, because Lamoral, I think, was constantly, because he was like in debt to Lamoral, and Lamoral was constantly like, if you don't pay me back, you're becoming a bridgeman just like them. If you fuck up, you're becoming a bridgeman just like them. So he was like willing to do anything to like not have that happen, because he knows exactly what their plans are.
But he's the one that made the like deals with Kaladin and all of that, right? Like,
Yeah.
to get all the stuff. Yeah, like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, he at least he was in the position, but he was still trying to help Kaladin in his own way. That's why I feel like he's gonna get a redemption a little bit. And
I mean, we never got any sort of confirmation that he died, which means it's very possible that he could come back in the next book.
Yeah, I mean, nobody dies in these books, right?
So Kaladin thinks about what had happened with Syl and the words he had said, and how Stormlight seemed to be more potent for him now. Although he had run out and now he was feeling extremely drained. Kaladin briefly wonders if they should have gone back to Dalinar's camp. However, he thinks that Teft had been right, that they needed to get their men from the barracks, and that Dalinar had promised to free them from Sadeas. The quiet conversation then ends, and Sadeas states that Dalinar should head back to his camp. Dalinar agrees, but says he will be taking the bridgemen with him. Although Sadeas protests this, Dalinar offers 60 emerald bromes per man, which was easily 20 times what a good slave was worth. Sadeas,
Everybody gasped.
Yep. Sadeas, however, insists he wouldn't.
I mean, they're gonna gas you hot louder for the next thing. So.
Sadeas, however, insists he wouldn't part with them for 1,000 bromes each. Tension grows, and for a moment, Kaladin thinks that Dalinar will break his promise. But then the people around him gasp as Dalinar forms his shard blade out of mist. Sadeas' guards instantly draw their swords, and Aelin looks to begin summoning his own blade. Because Aelin's like, "This is gonna be a fight. We're gonna fight now, right?"
I want to fight. Let's fight.
So, were you on the same page as Adelin? Did you think Dalinar was going to attack Sadeas here when you were first reading it?
Yeah, I definitely.
I thought it was gonna go like.
What actually happened was definitely a shock to me.
Dalinar then drives his shardblade into the ground and says that he will give Sadeas his blade for every bridgeman that Sadeas owns. Sadeas looks incredulous and says the blade is worth a fortune. Aelin tries to protest, but Dalinar silences him. Dalinar firmly asks Sadeas if they have a deal, and Sadeas glances at Kaladin briefly before telling Dalinar to take them. As Dalinar turns away, Sadeas shouts out that the bridgemen are worthless and that Dalinar made a mistake that will be remembered as the most ridiculous an Alethi High Prince has ever made. So what did you think about
I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. I think he just didn't know what he had.
So yeah, what did you think about Dalinar giving up his shard blade for every bridgeman? So not just Kaladin's bridge, you got all of them.
Yeah, I think honestly, it doesn't really matter because I think he'll get it back anyways. Like, I don't think I mean, he can just go battle him for it or whatever.
I mean, Aelin still has his shard blade. He could get Aelin to fight Sadeas for it.
I mean, I feel like he could fight him even if he has a shard blade. Like, I don't think he's that good.
Mm-hmm.
Man was too scared to fight an army of whatever. Like, no, it's not happening. I think he'd win even without having a shard blade.
Yeah, what did you think, Darkness, about Dalinar giving up his shard blade for the bridgeman?
It's very Dalinar, you know. I'm just glad he proposed early on.
Oh my god.
Also, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal considering that Kaladin can fight shard blade users at this point. So if he beat a shard blade user, like a shard blade user and with like full shard blade armor or whatever, and he didn't even have Stormlight back then, you know.
Mm-hmm. I think it was more that he caught that guy by surprise. Like, he's caught both these Shardbearers more by surprise.
He can pretty much do that with almost everyone that has that shit, considering that they're gonna be like underestimating.
Yeah, because most Shard.
You also need 10 seconds to bring it out, and in 10 seconds, a lot of shit can happen. So.
Or 10 heartbeats. Yeah, 10 heartbeats, because it can, depending how fast your heart is racing, it can be probably slower or faster than 10 seconds. But Kaladin is shocked as Dalinar tells him to go get his men and hurry back to his camp, also mentioning that he will send guards with them. Kaladin asks what happened, and Dalinar asks what Kaladin thinks a man's life is worth. Kaladin replies that a man's life is priceless. Dalinar replies that a shard blade is also priceless, and that he got 2,600 priceless bridgemen for only one priceless sword. Dalinar then says he will talk to Kaladin again tonight. Kaladin asks if this is what he had planned in taking care of Sadeas. However, Dalinar says this was not taking care of Sadeas, but was taking care of Kaladin and his men. So what did you think about Dalinar's response to, like, the deal he got in regards to the Bridgeman versus the Shardblade.
Wait, whose response?
The deal he got. So like Dalnar's like saying like I only had to give up one priceless sword for 2,600
that's
private
no
priceless lives.
I found that pretty valid, Loki.
What did you think about that, Mythic?
1 second. I'm looking up how fast the fucking heart beats real quick. Okay. Wow. Never mind. That's wild. Okay. Because that's what 60. It says it's on the bottom is 60 heartbeats, beats per minute. So that's
That's
how
about
it
one
would
per
be.
second.
Yeah. So yeah, it's okay. So still it would be like 10 seconds to a normal
Yeah,
heartbeat.
when you're
Which makes
yeah.
sense
Yeah.
with
It
what
does.
happens,
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
king and Dalinar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure.
But yeah,
So
Mythic, what did you think
question.
about the like Dalnar's response of like I only gave up one priceless blade for 2,600 priceless lives?
I mean, I agree with him that they're worth way more than that blade was. I'm sure, like the long run. So
I think most people, or at least most Light Ice, don't see it that way though.
no,
And like
because they're
Dalnar sees
racist.
things in a better way.
Well,
He
I
sees
guess
things
they're
more
more,
similar to
they're
Kaladin.
more classist. I guess they're
But
more classist than racist. But
Dalinar also
Mhm.
like was able to see what they can do,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he's also lawn man regardless. So
Yeah, I think he's really seen like what Kaladin can do and what Kaladin's done to just Bridge 4. He's like, I can't wait for you to do this to all the Bridgemen. You like, damn, you're you're just too good, dude.
I would have laughed my ass off if Calvin was just bullshitting the whole time.
Yeah, totally.
So we switch back
That's
to.
the man a whole shard blade for no army.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Dalnar says that like they're allowed to leave if they want to.
Hmm.
They don't have to stay with him.
Yeah.
Free men now.
So we switch back to Dalnar's point of view as he goes into the palace sitting room to find Elhokar. This is one of my favorite parts of this.
Yeah, I
Dalnar,
agree.
Dalnar nodded to the guards outside, that are his men, and closed the door behind himself. Elhokar notices Dalnar and asks him about the rumors about Dalnar and his mother, although he doesn't believe them to be true. Dalnar approaches Elhokar as he continues on about how he's tired of Dalnar's poor reputation, but then he sees that Dalnar isn't responding and asks if he missed something important. Dalnar just says yes before kicking Elhokar in the chest. Elhokar
Yep.
flies backwards towards the desk, causing it to break and his plate to crack. Dalnar walks up and kicks Elhokar in the side, causing another crack in his breastplate. Elhokar begins shouting for the guards but gets no response. He catches Dalnar's next kick, but Dalnar pulls Elhokar to his feet and throws him off to the side, causing him to fall into a chair and break it. Elhokar tries calling again for his guards and runs for the door, but Dalnar throws his shoulder against Elhokar to knock him to the ground again. So what were your first thoughts when Dalnar began attacking Elhokar?
I was like, oh, so he is the one that sabotaged the saddle and everything.
No,
He is the one
no,
that wants to kill him.
that's crazy because that's one of the like parts I was talking about where I figured it out like
Right
moments before it
before, yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I did not. I did
so
not.
I
Until he
got
said it, I had no idea what was going on.
the only part I did figure out was the fact that he was the one that broke the saddle thing, right? I was like, oh shit, like, what if he, did that? And then I didn't realize the rest of it. I thought he was like, I thought the whole thing was literally just him, like, faking it or whatever.
I
You
mean,
thought
But if
Dalnar
it
was just
actually
upset that
is,
Elhokar had faked the assassination attempt?
so
uh,
I did find it entertaining to hear that, like, he was like, yeah, I did it to myself. However, there is still somebody trying to
yeah,
kill me. And
yeah.
I'm like, who would believe you from after that? Like, you sabotaged your own saddle to show that somebody's attacking you, but you have no proof anybody's attacking you because you attacked yourself.
Okay, but that kind of worked out because
I
if they
mean,
bring
kind
attention
of.
to somebody,
Mhm.
Yeah.
uh,
So Elhokar begins to summon his Shardblade, but Dalnar kicks Elhokar's hand to cause him to drop the blade and have it puff back to mist. Elhokar tries
Which
to
is
punch.
hilarious.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to like fight against a Shardbearer. It's just like you keep smacking their hands so they can't keep hold of their Shardblade.
Yeah.
Uh,
And like I said, he could beat the dude even if he has a shard blade.
Yep. Elhokar tries to punch Dalnar, but he grabs Elhokar's fist, pulls him to his feet again, and slams his own fist into Elhokar's breastplate. Dalnar continues to hit Elhokar's chest until the breastplate shatters. Elhokar falls to the floor and struggles to get up because the main piece of the shard plate is now broken. Once again, Elhokar calls for his guards, but Dalnar tells him that they won't come because they are his men. Elhokar is almost crying as he asks why Dalinar is doing this, and Dalinar accuses Elhokar of cutting the strap on his saddle himself, that the saddle was switched because Elhokar didn't want to damage his favorite saddle. Elhokar replies that Dalinar wouldn't take him seriously about the assassination attempts, and Dalinar states that Elhokar brought suspicion on his house and gave Sadeas an opportunity to destroy him.
Yeah.
So yeah, what did you think about? I mean, we kind of talked about it already, but what did you think about Elhokar faking the assassination attempt because no one would pay attention to him saying that he was having assassination attempts on him?
I mean, it's very stupid because you undermined yourself. Like, the moment somebody figures out that you did that, like, nobody's gonna take your, I'm being assassin story seriously anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I would never fake an assassination either.
I mean, you'd fake an assassination on somebody else, maybe.
Anyway.
So Dalinar then asks Elhokar if he was also behind the issues with his shard plate, to which Elhokar insists he wasn't. Dalinar replies that maybe Elhokar was right about something then, but he doesn't let Elhokar up yet. He tells Elhokar that he could crush his ribs and heart with a simple push, that no one would blame him, and that no one would care or avenge him. Dalinar then releases Elhokar and says that Elhokar needs to understand that he isn't his enemy, that he loves him, and that if he wanted to kill Elhokar, he could have done it. Dalinar asks if Elhokar understands, and Elhokar nods slowly. What do you think about Dalinar's lesson to Elhokar?
That was a good lesson.
I mean, the only thing I was thinking the entire time was, this man has a shard plate and shard blade? Like, really? This person?
Well, I think he inherited them from his dad.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, this person? Like, how has he not lost this already?
Because no one's going to challenge the king. Especially not with Dalinar backing him up.
I mean, now Dalinar's kind of losing all his possessions, so...
Because I don't think the king ever really goes on the plateau assaults or anything. He doesn't really fight. He just has this.
Yeah, why, though? Why would you, like, give it to somebody who's going to use it?
Well, I think they have said earlier in the book that he does... Like, he apparently has multiple shard blades in plate, and he lends them out to people.
The hell?
So he's
a hoarder.
He's a bank.
Yeah, so he basically lends out all his, like, fancy armor and shard blades for people to use in battle as well as to, like, practice with.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's just been so paranoid lately that he's been wearing one of the suits of plate just constantly.
That's pretty smart, though.
Yeah, I guess. I mean...
I would do the same thing if I had that protection,
I mean, it got broken pretty easily, so...
Well, yeah, but...
So that's by someone else also wearing plate. Like, it's a lot
Yeah.
harder to break if you're not also have enhanced strength because of shard plate.
Unless you're Caldin,
Well, Kaladin never broke any plate. He got between the cracks of the shard plate.
Exactly, he doesn't need to.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it's not as easy to break the shard plate as it seems in this chapter.
I feel like Kaladin probably could, though, to be honest.
Break it?
Yeah, I feel like Kaladin's just got to learn how to tap into some abilities.
You just gotta do the zest thing and, like, start sending lash some stones at the guy.
Oh god, I know, right?
So Dalinar then tells Elhokar that he has to name him High...
When he says later about how talking to Rock, how he'll just lash him to the ceiling,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, I love this dude.
But yeah, so Dalinar then tells Elhokar that he is to name him High Prince of War tomorrow, and tells Elhokar of Sadeas' betrayal. He will force all 10 war camps to follow the codes, and he will determine who goes out on which plateau assaults. He also says that all gem hearts will go to the throne, and Elhokar will distribute them. Elhokar says the High Princes will revolt, and says he thought Dalinar believed it was wrong to force people to follow the codes. Dalinar, however, says he has learned that those ideals are to be looked at after order is created, and that he's going to treat the High Princes as children until they learn how to act properly.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking too.
He then says that they are going to win the war and make Elhokar a place to envy, or they will die trying. Elhokar says this only happens if he agrees to write the proclamation, and Dalinar replies that he will agree to it, and that Dalinar also promises to find who is trying to kill Elhokar. Elhokar responds that once this goes out, everyone will be trying to kill him, and Dalinar just states that Elhokar won't be guessing anymore then.
I loved it.
It was so good. Dalinar then opens the door to the room and tells the nervous guards outside and servants that Elhokar is just fine as he promised. Before he leaves, because they always say outside, be like, I mean, we're supposed to go in, but Dalinar said not to go in. Like, what do we do?
Who do we follow?
Before he leaves, he tells Elhokar that he and Navani are now courting, and Elhokar will have to get used to it. This is what seems to draw the most shock from Elhokar as Dalinar walks away. So what do you think about Dalinar's plans for the war, now that he's going to be High Prince of War?
I agree. I agree with it. It works out. It'll work out in the way.
He's uniting them.
Yeah, because he's just
Even
like,
though-
I was treating them
even
like
though he
adults.
thinks that
They are not adults. They are children and need to be disciplined.
Yeah, he's uniting him even though he thinks the voice lied to him,
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not that the voice really lied to him. I mean, well, yeah, he thinks that at this point that it lied
He
to
thinks that the voice lied
Yeah.
to him.
him. He
I didn't
eventually
say
learns
it
that the voice did
actually
not
did.
lie to him.
Yeah, I didn't say it actually did lie to him. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, he
Well, I
thinks
think
it did.
I
so-
think with
Yeah,
or
he's
without
still
the voice,
unifying
he
it.
still thinks that bringing the High Princes together is the best way to end the war.
And the
Well,
war,
I
just
think that
kill
you
them all,
think
man.
wrong.
Would you say, Darkness?
I said
What?
I think that you think wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, for the person who's already read the entire series, yeah, I think you think wrong.
So yeah, Chapter 70, Sea of Glass. Part 5, The Silence Above, which is the opposite of Part 1's title, which is Above Silence. So we start with Part 5 with Shalon's point of view as she lays in her hospital bed. She feels worse about Jasmine's
Wouldn't it have
disappointment.
been wait? If it was the opposite, wouldn't it be noise below?
No, it's the words are just reversed.
Oh, so it's not the opposite. It's
Yeah,
just a
sorry, I
reverse.
shouldn't have said that.
Got
Yes,
it.
the reverse
Oh,
of
well,
Part
it's
1.
not the opposite.
Sorry, I apologize. I used the wrong word. I apologize. She feels worse about Yasna's disappointment in her than the theft itself, and she also misses Capsule, even though he'd been willing to risk Shalon's life to assassinate Yasna.
When she said, "I miss Capsule," I was like, "Girl, he tried to kill you."
She thinks that he had to have cared for her at least a little, since he had been so insistent on her eating the jam. He had offered her the jam before eating any himself, although he had eaten some, but yet it hadn't saved him. Shalon then realizes that Yasna had eaten the bread, but hadn't been poisoned. Also, just another thing to bring up, we find out that Capsule is part of like the same group that that steward of theirs is, but so when he brings up like, oh, I know about like stuff about your dad, it's like, yeah, that's where he learned it from.
Yep.
Also,
Wait,
this girl.
didn't she also say though that her dad's a part of the same group?
She thinks he is because her dad's steward, who knew about the shard, or not the shard, the soulcaster, was.
Oh, okay.
She's not 100% sure though.
he
They just
was
know that the
literally-
steward had
okay.
the symbol tattooed on him.
Gotcha.
Also, this girl is like the same type of delusional that I am.
Yeah. Well, hey, the first track on getting better is admitting your faults. There, Darkness.
Shalon begins to flip through her sketchbook. Yasna hadn't bothered to look through it and thus didn't see the pictures of the symbol head creatures. Shalon felt she could sometimes see them out of the corner of her eye and could sometimes hear them whispering, although she didn't respond to them. Shalon begins to sketch Yasna on the day with the bread and remembers she had stuck her finger in the jam before smelling it for some reason, but hadn't made a face at the smell. She also draws a picture of Yasna eating the bread and remembers her grimacing while taking a bite. For some reason, the piece of bread looked almost like it was melting in her drawing. So what do you think about Shalon's realization that Yasna had also eaten the poisoned bread, but was not poisoned?
I mean, I didn't put two and two together, so I was just like, okay.
What do you think,
You
Darkness?
recalled what the bread looked like for a second, right?
Yeah, she said it looked like it was melting as Yasna put it in her mouth.
Yeah, so at that point, I instantly knew everything.
You're like, oh, so she soul casted it.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, and it makes sense. Considering that at that point, if she soul casted it, she didn't know about the switch and all that, and yeah,
Mhm.
she can do it.
So Shalon takes her sketch pad and gets out of bed, heading out of her room where there's no longer a guard. She was supposed
You know
to be
what I find funny though?
Mm.
I find it funny that she ended up giving her back the fake soulcaster, but she didn't have to.
Yeah, I know she didn't have to.
Like,
she could have been
she
saved
would've
and none of it would have been revealed.
exactly. She could have still gotten saved. And then, honestly, what could have happened after being saved might have been the fact that, she would have figured this all out, faster.
Yeah, because she would have been like, okay, but why wasn't Yasna poisoned?
Or why was she able to?
And also, why was she able to
help me later?
soul cast my blood without the without the soulcaster?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the only thing is, because she soul casted without touching the soulcaster, she may have thought that Yasna just had to be really close to it, and thus by being close to Shalon who had it, she maybe could have soul casted, but that might have been a line of thought she went through, but we don't know what would have happened if she hadn't revealed that she had it.
No, because I feel like she still would have came down to the same conclusion.
I think she still would have realized that Yasna
yeah.
soul casted the bread while she wasn't near Shalon, which would have given things away. But yeah.
I don't know. I feel like she would have still figured it out. What I don't think though is I don't actually think if she didn't give her it back, I don't think she would have saved her. I think honestly that her giving it back to her kind of like enraged her enough that she was like, okay, I have to bring her back. I have to basically shame her for stealing the soulcaster in the first place.
Yeah, she seems like the type.
Yeah. I mean, she has no problem murdering a bunch of people, so like she wouldn't have any problem murdering Schlong.
I can't. I mean, like, you can be a happy person and murder people. You know.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, she was
Psychopaths.
very concerned about Shalon's supposed suicide attempt. Like, remember, she was like constantly
Yeah.
outside of Shalon's room, like wanting to see her. She does seem to care about Shalon.
So so what you're saying is she might have saved her, maybe.
Yeah, I think she might have because she did seem quite concerned about Shalon's health.
Well, they're dating now, so she's like, I need you to stay by my side. I need you to trust me.
I need
like
you to teach me. I need you to teach me everything you know, so that later I can betray you again.
But so Shalon was supposed to be shipped out this morning, so no one cared about her anymore. She walks out of the hospital and towards the conclave. Some of the master servants there asked if she needed help, but she declined and made her way towards Yasna's alcove. As she approaches, Yasna sees her, she sees Yasna, and she seems unnaturally fatigued, and Yasna states that Shalon isn't welcome here. Shalon tells Yasna that her soulcaster was a fake, a decoy, which is why Yasna never noticed the switch. Yasna states that she keeps several decoys just in case. Shalon then flips through her sketchpad and shows Yasna the drawing she had done of the Sea of Beads. Yasna's eyes bulge in shock as she asks where Shalon found mentions of that place. Shalon calmly says that she visited that place when she soulcasted her goblet into blood and faked a suicide attempt to cover it up. She tells Yasna that her soulcaster was never real, and she used it to cover up the fact that she could soulcast without it. So what do you think about Shalon confronting Yasna?
I was like, I mean, she has nothing to lose at this point. So
Yeah, she really doesn't.
I was like, fuck yeah, girl, do it. It made me feel so much better for her.
What do you think, Darkness, about her confronting Yasna?
I was like, I don't like you, but yeah, make me happy, make me right. You know.
Shalon states that the soul casting has something to do with that place and the creatures, and that being around Yasna somehow allowed Shalon to soul cast as well. She states that Yasna soul casted the jam, which is why it became horrible, because she is bad at organic things. Yasna also soul casted the bread, just in case, which is why she didn't get poisoned. Shalon tells Yasna that she took the soul caster on the night Yasna killed the 4 thugs, which seems to surprise Yasna, and Shalon says that Yasna never realized it was switched until Shalon showed her the soul caster in her pouch. Yasna, however, denies all
what
of
I
this.
found weird at that point, by the way, was when she says, "Oh, well, you're not good at soul casting organic things," and I'm like, "But didn't she soul cast your blood? Like, isn't that organic?" Like,
Yeah, well, Yasna explains how
they explain it
blood is
later,
one of
but,
the
like,
10 essences.
at
Yeah.
this current moment, I was like, "But like, you're not good with organic things, yet somehow blood was okay to be."
No, because at that point I had the same thought process, and then I was like, what's in her body right now?
Yeah, like, is it mush blood? Like, it's not actual blood? Like, what
Is
the
that
heck
where
is
the
going on
strawberry jam went? You know.
Shalon's heart pumps
This
strawberry jam now.
This jam tastes like iron.
Yeah, so Yasna denies all of this, stating Shalon is just tired and stressed. Shalon replies that she'll prove it to Yasna then. She asks for the creatures in her mind, and they reply that they are always listening. Shalon asks to be taken to that place again, and they reply that they need a truth. Shalon tries to tell the truth about Yasna's soulcaster, but the creatures reply that they need a truth about Shalon. Shalon whispers
And this is where I was shocked as shit.
Shalon whispers that she is a murderer. She killed her father. The creature calls that a powerful truth, and Shalon instantly falls into the Sea of Beads. Something grabs Shalon's foot, tugging her down. Just as Shalon worries she is going to drown in the glass beads, Yasna pulls Shalon back up and onto a raft made out of glass beads. So what do you think about the fact that Shalon killed her father?
I was super shocked.
I was surprised.
In all honesty,
the sword.
yeah, in all honesty, yeah, like I said, she has the sword, so it would make sense she murdered her own father for.
Also, it's crazy how Dalinar is down a sword, but she still has her.
Shalon's not the only main character we know with a shard blade. I guess Adolin kind of also counts, but of the 3 of Kaladin, Dalinar, Shalon. Also,
I can't remember if Zeth has one.
Yeah, Zeth has a blade.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's how he mainly kills people.
So we know who Syl is gonna like and who she's not gonna like.
She's not gonna like Shalon or Zeth because they have shard blades.
I mean, but she liked whatever the fuck his name is.
Dalinar.
Yeah, before.
That's true. She liked Dalinar, but she really hated his sword. She just hates the sword.
I don't think she likes Zeth though. I don't think she likes Zeth, but I think she'll like.
Yeah, she probably won't be the biggest fan of Zeth.
Yeah, but I feel like
she's gonna react the same way that she reacted about Odium when she sees Zeth.
Also, why do you think these symbol-headed creatures want truths about Shalon in order to transfer her to Shadesmar?
Because they're truth spren, clearly.
You know, damn Darkness, because I was about to say they're spren, but I can't think of what kind of spren they would be, but that would make a lot of sense, honestly.
If there's honor spren, you know.
Yeah, that must be truth spren. Yeah.
Where's that justice, glory, or whatever it is.
So Yasmin does say later on that like every radiant is connected to a spren. Do you think those then that Shalon's gonna have
Yes.
a true
Yes.
spren as her main
Yes.
spren?
He's already connected to them.
Yeah, hey, isn't she already connected to him? What?
Yeah, it seems like there's like a group following though. Like, I don't know if like it's fully confirmed which of that group that she would be connected to though.
What if they're not? What if it's literally is one friend? Just it
That's
seems
true.
like a group.
It could be.
Like, I mean, we don't know how spreading actually
You and that
are.
fucking hive mind mentality, bro.
Hey,
So
As
Yasmin.
much, no, that would be
Sorry.
great. Actually, that would be so
Wouldn't
cool.
it?
So Yasmin somehow pulls Shalon back into the alcove and says Shalon was an idiot for visiting Shadesmar with only a single dim sphere. Shalon coughs, still feeling like she has the glass beads in her throat, and then tells Yasna that she wants to be a part of this. She says that she is sorry for stealing from her, but that she won't make excuses, and that she had planned to steal from her from the start. She says she doesn't want to leave this, and that she can become someone Yasna doesn't have to lie to about what she can do. Yasna has Shalon sit down and promise to never lie to her again, which Shalon promises.
Okay. Okay. Like, never lie to me again. Alrighty. So how do you know this isn't a lie? Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say someone tries to follow the same footsteps as Kaladin, but they have different ways of viewing the same ideals. Like how Jasmine's like, or whatever her name is like
Yes,
oh,
no.
I'm gonna go kill these people because it feels right, you know?
Mhm.
I'm wondering if they would still get the same outcome as, let's say, Kaladin would have.
They probably would not attract it. I don't think Yasna would attract any honor spren, considering what she did with the thugs.
No, I mean, like, I'm not saying like, I'm not saying like,
not honorable.
I'm not saying like, oh, she's like trying to follow his footsteps. I'm saying like, if
Mhm.
somebody did what Kaladin does, but like, no, well, for the same viewpoints or whatever, and it happens differently than how it should be. You know, like how for Jasna, it feels right to kill them because it's like
Mhm.
some form of justice or something.
Yeah. So we
Like,
know that
what if-
there was 10 different orders. And Yasna in, I believe, the second chapter with Yasna and Shalon gives a little kind of hint about the powers and how she says, like, only 2 of the orders of Radiance could soul cast. So, like, there's different powers for depending on what spren you have. And also your ideals, because Tefta has also mentioned, the first ideal for every Radiant is the same, but the following ideals are based on your order. So, like, people with honor spren would have these kind of protection, honorable ideals. But other types of spren and radiant orders would have different ideals.
What I'm saying is, would it still be able to complete that ideal or whatever if you carry that out in a different way that is not like the best way, you know, the most optimal way?
I think you need to kind of live the ideals. I think if you're not an honorable person, you could not be.
Okay, that's what I'm saying though.
Honor
That's what I'm saying though. Like, what if in your eyes you're honorable, you're doing the best you can, but in other people's eyes you can do more?
I think it might. Yeah, I guess it would depend on the intentions, but I think it would also depend on how the spren views you, because an honor spren may not want to be around you if they don't think you're being honorable, but if they also believe you're being honorable, then they probably would want to be around you.
Okay,
So
so
then why is she being followed by truth spren if she's not very truthful?
It's a good question.
Well, they want her to be.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, but like,
I feel like that's what I'm saying. I feel like that moment where shit, no, because she saw them beforehand, huh?
She's been seeing
What was
them
the
for a
first moment
while.
She saw them.
She started
when she
seeing
drew
them
the
in her
picture.
drawings.
Yeah, she drew the picture of Yasna, right?
No, I believe it was when she drew the picture of the king. Yeah, she drew the picture of the king.
King. That's what it was.
Yeah, which is when Taravangian's like, I don't think I could be forgiven by the Ardents no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a little hint to Taravangian being not the greatest guys.
Wait, that's the same dude that at the end of
with Zeth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
That's
didn't
the
even tie
king.
that together. But
that one. I think that's the thing in this entire like couple chapters or whatever that threw me for the biggest.
I've been so waiting for the Taravangian stuff at the end of this book, because you get little bits of him all throughout Shalon and Yasna, so you're like, oh, it's this kind old man who has all these hospitals and he accepts everyone for free. He's such a great guy. Yeah. And it's like, and he's murdering people in the basement.
Why is it always those guys, bro? Why are they always the lucky ones? Why can't I be the lucky ones?
But yeah, so Yasna then tells Shalon to read something about the Voidbringers. And then we move to chapter 71, which is Recorded in Blood, here's the Zeth chapter.
Mm-hmm.
We switch to the point of view of Zeth's son Villano, Truthless of Shinovar, as he walks across the docks of Kharbranth. In his head, he could hear the screams of all the people he has killed, but he also curses his victims for not being strong enough to kill him. He was on the last name of the list, Taravangian, beloved king of Kharbranth, who would happily heal anyone who came to him. Although Zeth should feel bad for having to kill a simple-minded man, instead he felt angry that Taravangian wouldn't be smart enough to prepare for him.
Really?
Zeth was a bit confused as his instructions for this murder were different, to not kill anyone else and to do this quietly. He was also to say that the others were dead and that he was here to finish the job, and to not harm Taravangian until he acknowledges these words. Zeth thought that these murders were due to vengeance, which was the reasoning for this strange message to his last victim. So what were your first thoughts about the different instructions for killing Taravangian before you find out?
Honestly, I didn't catch it before all this shit happened, so I have no idea.
Did you notice
I
that,
thought it was
Agnes?
just no, I thought it was normal.
Okay. So Zeth goes into a privy as he breaks away from the porters he was pretending to be working with, and once the one man in there leaves, he infuses himself with stormlight. Zeth then uses a lashing to keep the door tightly attached to the frame so that it can't be opened, before using his shardblade to cut a hole in the privy floor. He had purchased the maps of the conclave and trusted that they would be accurate. Zeth then rides the piece of stone to the room below, which is the Light Eye privy. Zeth then takes off his top layer of clothes, revealing an outfit of a master servant below, putting on a matching hat. Zeth then hurries towards where Taravangian should be, breaking the wrist of a guard that tries to stop him and slamming his elbow into the stomach of the other to keep him from shouting. He knocks out both guards before going into the room beyond. The room inside had bookcases crammed with books, a large window overlooking the ocean, and a rug on the floor where the king was sitting. Zeth tells the king that he has killed the others and he has come to finish the job, as he begins to summon his shardblade. However, the king does not respond at first, before asking if Zeth killed his guards. Zeth is confused and steps back. So what do you think about Zeth's infiltration of the conclave?
Pretty immaculate.
He's very good at making an entrance, and he's also very good at being sneaky about it.
Okay, but to be fair,
saying to a code, like to a whatever he's asked to do,
To be fair, if the king wanted to take it more seriously, there definitely would be more, security and shit.
I also, I forgot to write this question. I didn't write this question down, but I just thought of it now. What do you think about considering Zeth seems to have, the same powers as Kaladin, but we've never heard any mention in his POVs of a spren?
So it kind of goes on the whole thing that I had before about the crap people. That's how I'm gonna say because I don't remember the name every
The
time.
Parshendi?
Yeah. Where I think they're fusing, I guess. Fusing with their spren. To gain more power. I don't remember why I had thought about it originally. I remember thinking originally this idea came to be when I was when Kaladin was strung up in the storm. I was thinking about it. I was like, just she's always there, and it seemed as if almost like he summons her, at times when he's in times of need and shit like that. I was like, what if they are one? What if they're both together in the sand? So that's my thought. Maybe he's fused with his friend.
What do you think, Darkness?
We had a mention in one of the visions with Dalinar where he met that one dude that he was fanboying about.
Noadon, yeah.
Where I think they said something about people being able to do the same thing without having the spren. They don't have a real spren bond or whatever. I can't remember it clearly, but I know that there was a difference between it.
They mention a talk of surge binders, and they mention talks of they say that they mention talk. I think that what you might be thinking of is they say even though he doesn't have an honor spren, honor spren are more distinguished than this. But I think they're more so making a comment about how he is just a different order of radiant that doesn't have an honor spren.
Okay, so it's just a different spren.
Yeah, so he just has a different spren, and they're just saying oh, his spren isn't the smart. It's not an honor spren. It's not the most I think they kind of looked down on whatever spren the guy had.
It's a fear spren for sure.
It's a murder spren.
Wait, no. What was the other one that was a death spren or something like that?
There's been Syl's defended Kaladin from death spren.
Yeah, so
I would love a death spren.
So Taravangian says that Zeth had killed many, and tells Zeth that he likely has more truth than the rest of his people, because of all he has done. Taravangian then pulls out Zeth's oath stone, and says that he put his own name on the list in case Zeth was captured. He also made sure to give instructions to keep Zeth from killing him suddenly, and notes that Zeth is very good at following instructions. He also, of course, tells Zeth not to kill him. Taravangian then briefly goes to check on his guards and calls for someone to help them in case Zeth accidentally killed them when he smashed their heads onto the wall. Taravangian also admits some of the people he had Zeth kill were his friends, but their deaths were necessary. So were you
Here's the thing, though.
surprised?
What if he did kill them? What if he had killed them? Because then he would have gone against the what he was told.
I don't know what would happen then.
He would end himself.
I think
No, he
I
can't
think
do
his
that.
master would probably decide on a punishment for him.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he can punish himself because he can't kill himself.
Yeah, he can't kill himself.
Yeah, so I think he would have to like be like, what is your choice of punishment for me for fucking up? But
Kind of
yeah,
kinky.
but were you surprised that Taravangian was Zeth's secret master for these last
I'm gonna hear you say his name. I think Zesty.
Zesty. Yeah, what did you think about Taravangian having Zeth's oath stone?
I mean, like I said, it was probably the most surprising thing.
But why?
That's a good question. Why do you think that the deaths of these important people were necessary to Taravangian?
That's what I was asking. But why?
Because he says the deaths of these important men were necessary.
I can't believe him. I can't believe the words he's saying because of his next mission for Zeth. I was like, I don't know. Now, like before, I was like, I'm kind of on your side. Maybe they are bad people or something, and you're murdering them for just reasons. And then you send him to go kill this. I'm like, no, never mind. I don't like you anymore. No.
Maybe he has a similar viewpoint as Yes.
Thaddeus?
No,
Oh,
Yes.
Yesna?
Oh well, Thaddeus too, I guess. Where it feels like they have that urge to take things into their own hand. It shouldn't matter what cost as long as it makes it right. Which is a great viewpoint. Now,
So Zeth doesn't understand how killing these influential men was necessary, but Taravangian implies that sometimes you need to tear down walls to build stronger ones, and that they will need very strong walls in the coming years.
I agree with that.
didn't that one dude say something about that? The
I
one
mean,
with
the voice has been saying that like things are coming. The desolation is coming.
he literally said you need to like fortify your shit or some shit.
I think he says like, yeah, like protect the people and stuff like that.
I'm about to pull this shit up. Hold on.
All right, yeah. Google it up. Let's go.
Google.
No. Zeth then
Google
makes
it up.
well, you're looking
Google
it up.
all of this.
Zeth then makes a Shin metaphor, which he's surprised that Taravangian recognizes, and that Taravangian says it in the Shin language. Taravangian then has Zeth follow him through a closed door in the study and into a room that is painted white and has hundreds of hospital beds. Zeth is confused about this hidden hospital room that was not on any of the maps he was able to buy or bribe his way into seeing.
I wonder why.
As they walk through the room, Zeth realizes that people are getting their blood drained, and he asks Taravangian if he is killing them. Taravangian says he is, saying they don't need the blood, but a way to slowly and easily kill these people. He says that they only bring the sickest people who are the most unlikely to recover here, but sometimes they need more people, and they take the ones that won't be missed. Zeth begins to step towards some children, wanting to help them, but Taravangian commands him to stop, and Zeth does, even though he wishes to kill Taravangian. What were your first thoughts when you saw that Taravangian was slowly killing people in his secret hospital room?
That's smart. Like, I'm not even joking. That was that ass smart to figure out what the fuck they were saying and like graphing them or whatever.
I mean, draining blood. That's a really slow death. So, like, that'd be torturous.
Yep.
Yeah, but it also like makes sure that they are able to pick it up.
They're draining their blood, and also all these people are also like probably dying from whatever sickness they have too, which he's like not treating them for.
Yeah, even though I'm sure he told them he would.
Yep, he let them into the hospital, being like, "Oh yeah, totally come." And then when he decided, oh, either they won't be missed because they're so like low ranked or like homeless or whatever, or they definitely won't recover, I'm gonna send them down to the secret hospital room. Just let them die so I can record their words.
And literally murder them by draining their blood from their bodies.
Because he's like, I can't let them recover on their own.
Y'all never heard of bleeding the sickness out?
Oh god, the medieval practices.
No.
Get the leeches.
Yeah, that's the real practice that we need to do. Leeching them.
Yeah, bring it back. No.
So Taravangian says that they are similar. They both have committed sins they cannot escape. Suddenly, one of the dying youths speaks, and a nearby woman quickly writes down what he says before the youth dies. Taravangian says it is better for one man to sin than for a whole people to die. Taravangian says that some of the dying speak, and it started about 7 years ago when Gavilar first explored the area around the Shattered Plains and found the Parshendi. The people on the brink of life and death see something, and their words might save them. Zeth calls Taravangian a monster, and he agrees, but says he is a monster who will save the world. So what do you think about the fact that Taravangian is killing people to get these death rattles that we've gotten during 2 parts of the book's epigraphs?
Okay, maybe it's not so smart considering that all he needs to do is read the book to find out what it is, but
I
listen
mean, he's
to the
got, I think,
podcast,
probably
man.
hundreds more than what we've seen.
That's fair.
So the next 100 chapters are just gonna have that.
Okay, no, but we get the necessary ones. No, we don't.
There's been a couple that they said were not a particular note, but we get.
That's why.
Well, we got the one where it
Why they
seemed.
come after Crepso?
Some of the ones we've gotten that weren't a particular note were kind of more hints. Like there was one that was a guy basically saying, "I know what you're doing here, and I'm not going to tell you what I see," which is kind of a hint of like someone's like basically got all these people together. And then there's one that mentions like it seems like they're looking into Shadesmar, which we do know that when people die, they briefly go into the cognitive realm before moving on to the beyond.
That's where Shalon went, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently, in order to
Is
soul
it-
cast, you need to be in the cognitive realm briefly.
Which is not that far off from one of our theories, I guess.
True.
Also, what do you think Taravangian is learning from these death rattles? Because obviously, like, we kind of can tell, as I said, with, like, that one where it predicted Kaladin saying the second ideal. Like, these seem to be, like, telling things of the future. And Taravangian seems to think that he needs to learn what's being told in order to prepare for something.
It's interesting that he is getting the future, like the future stuff, and Dalinar is getting the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because one is way more forbidden, and guess
Yeah.
why? No,
Well, what they say is knowing the futures of the Voidbringers. So do you think this is like something of like a Voidbringer power that is causing
oh,
these
that's
death rattles?
crazy! And we realize who the Voidbringers are eventually.
Yeah.
so-
Mhm.
Or who they think the Voidbringers are, but yeah.
Yeah.
So Taravangian then says that Zeth needs to kill Dalinar Kholin before he unites the Alethi High Princes, and it must be done brutally. Zeth replies that he rarely has the luxury to do otherwise. He closes his
Fuck
eyes and
him.
screams greet him. So what do
Just
you think about
fuck
Zeth's
him,
next
man.
target
Why would
being
you?
Dalinar?
No, fuck you. I mean, at the same time, I'm like, okay, cool. It'll get Zeth over there next to them all right? But I don't like that you want to murder this man. This man is amazing, and you were like, he be a better ally.
What do you think, Darkness, about the next
I don't
target
see
being
how it can
Dalinar?
be avoided unless Seth breaks his like whole belief structure.
Yep. Or Kaladin kills him. Yeah.
I mean, we know that Kaladin is going to, and Bridgeport are now going to be guarding Dalinar and the king and like stuff like that.
Oh my god, I love that negotiation. It was so fucking awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that soon.
Oh my god! Sorry, I just remembered that he gave him his cloak
Cape.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you
That's
think?
like
Sorry, just before we end this chapter, what do you think Taravangian is concerned about, or why do you think Taravangian is concerned about Dalinar uniting the Alethi High Princes?
maybe he's on the opposite side.
Maybe he is a Voidbringer.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, Future Sight is of the Voidbringers.
It is of the
so-
Voidbringers.
Maybe
Although
he's in love.
we
in
also
love
get
with one.
we also I'll bring it up. I'll wait. I'll bring it up till Dalinar's vision.
What if he's Odium?
Taravangian.
Yeah, or like, what if he's either is Odium or is like being influenced, kind of like Ruin was influencing everybody. It's being influenced by Odium.
I mean, Odium could be the one in charge of the Voidbringers because it seems like Odium is like seen as like the main bad guy, so it would make sense that the
First off,
Voidbringers are getting their
I
power
don't
from
think
Odium.
I don't think the people that we think are that they think are Voidbringers are actually the Voidbringers. I don't think the crap people are bad. I think they're also in that whole prophecy. of
Yeah,
uniting
that doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I feel like they're in that prophecy of being united with
Unite
everybody
them.
else. Uh-huh.
But also, shit,
I mean, I was also
What if
wrong
he's-
about fucking.
what if he's part of the that one society thing or whatever?
the Ghost Bloods.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even remember this. What? What?
It's really in the next
Ghost Blood?
chapter. We'll talk about the Ghost Bloods.
Oh, I don't
Amaram,
remember that.
yeah, Amaram briefly mentions the word Ghost Bloods when he kills Kaladin's men. And then in this next chapter, Yasna says the Ghost Bloods are the ones with that symbol that I showed you previously that Capsule was a part of.
Oh
The
yeah,
ones that
yeah,
are trying to
okay.
kill her.
I don't remember them being called Ghost Bloods, but alright.
Yeah, they're called the Ghost Bloods.
Must have just missed that while listening to the audiobook.
Yeah. The Ghost Bloods are the one with the little triple triangle, like, diamond-shaped design. That,
True Voidbringers. Got it.
And apparently Amaram
just-
knows about them, but he's concerned about them. Like, he's not... Amaram wasn't a part of the Ghost Bloods, but he was talking about them to someone in the past.
So they're a society that has been around for a long, long time.
At least, 5-6 years, yeah.
Oh my god, they're the Red Lotus.
So we move to
Yeah,
chapter.
the White Lotus will come in and beat him.
We move to chapter 72, Veristatalion. And we move back to Shallan's point of view as she asks Yasna how she was able to soulcast Shallan's blood since she isn't good with organics. But Yasna
Yep.
replies that blood is one of the 10 essences, which is different than something else organic. She also mentions that she had to soulcast Shallan's blood several times and make her puke in order to get all the poison out. Shallan also asks if all soulcasters are fake, but Yasna replies that the Ardents do use actual Fabrials to soulcast, and that the Fabrials seem to have been made to recreate what she and Shallan can do. So what do you think about soulcasting Fabrials being based on the powers that some of the Radiants had?
It's a cheap copy.
Right. It's definitely not gonna be the same, sort of potential. or
Well,
whatever.
Shallan does mention in early on when she talks about the soulcaster how some soulcasters can only do one essence, but Yasna can do all 10. So it seems like some
Yep.
soulcasters are like the Fabrial versions are not as powerful
Weak.
as
They're weaker than.
actual soulcasters.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys want to know, I don't know if you read it, but in the very back of the book, it tells you what the 10 essences are, which
I'm
are
Shouting it for
Thanks,
yeah, I got it. Let me just
but
we all know Midnight wasn't gonna do that. So
yeah, so the 10 essences were Zephyr, Vapor, Spark, Lucentia, Pulp, Blood, Tallow, Foil, Talus, and Sinew. So
Okay.
Zephyr is translucent gas or air, Vapor is opaque gas, smoke, or fog, Spark means fire, Lucentia is quartz, glass, and crystal, Pulp is wood, plants, and moss, Blood is obviously blood, all non-oil non-oil liquids. Tallow is all kinds of oil, Foil is metal, Talus is rock and stone, and Sinew is meat and flesh. And they all correspond to a specific gemstone that you would use in soulcasting.
just non-shock Vevala.
Yeah, they all have a number, they have a gemstone, they have the
Yeah,
essence, they have a
okay.
body focus, a soulcasting
What's
property.
the number though?
So, if you remember when we do these death rattles, they have like these like blank day on this year. So parts of these numbers are like the prefixes of a lot of those dates. Because it's like the first day of this month of this year. That's how you read it.
I gotcha. And then what's the divine attribute thing of that? What's that?
So they have like a
I'm assuming it's like the
word that
freaking-
kind of goes with it. So like
yeah.
so like the air Zephyr essence is
Oh.
protecting and leading, and it's a sapphire gemstone. And so I believe each of them also corresponds to one of the 10 orders. So I believe the first one is Kaladin, what Kaladin would be a part of. 'cause it's
Yeah, that's what I was
protecting, leading.
thinking.
Yeah, let's say it seems a lot like the orders or whatever.
Yeah, I think 6 would probably be Shallan's creative honest, which is the blood.
She's not honest though.
But she has to
Creative
give
sure.
truce. She has to give truce.
Yes, but she's not honest.
Oh, that does make sense actually. Yeah. Huh.
Woman is not honest. I
Hmm.
don't understand why truth spren would even be anywhere near her.
One fun thing we're gonna do partway through the second book is some of the epigraphs give a description of each of the 10 orders, and there's a quiz you can do to find out which of the 10 orders you would belong to.
Oh God.
So we're gonna do
Maybe one of
that
these
probably.
BuzzFeed quizzes. Ugh.
No, it's one actually made by Brandon Sanderson.
It's a BuzzFeed quiz.
But yes, you gotta find out what order of the Knights Radiant you would be a part of.
be none.
Jesus got the same one as Kaladin.
Which is
Windrunner.
wait, what? What
I'm
is
sorry,
a
what?
What? Yeah, what?
The Windrunner order. We've gotten it told before because Dalinar says he's seen Windrunners and Stone Wards in that one vision of the Recreants. They're the ones who fall from the sky.
Right.
Windrunners are the ones that fall from the sky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because as you see with Zeth, he can like lash himself up and down into the air and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Kaladin to do the same thing.
Kaladin's still learning, but yes, he can do cool shit too.
Man, he can't fly.
Yeah, I mean, didn't somebody say that?
It's kind of flying. It's also kind of like falling in the
That's
wrong
what they're gonna
direction.
see,
Is how
that's
Zeth
That's what they're gonna
describes
see,
it.
though.
Yeah,
They're
it
gonna
looks
see
like
it's
flying.
Definitely what they're gonna say.
Yeah, it
and they're
definitely
gonna
looks
be
like
like,
flying, but like it's
"Oh,
technically just
can't
changing
fly."
gravity.
Oh my God. Defying gravity.
It's falling with style.
Anyways, where was I here?
Yep.
Uh,
What's that from, Darkness?
Toy Story.
Yeah, that's it. Falling with style.
so Shallan next asks about the symbol-headed creatures that she sees, but Yasna does not recognize them, although she does know that they are Spren. She mentions that there are 2 orders of the Knights Radiant that were able to soulcast, and that each Radiant's ability was tied to their Spren. Shallan is confused, but Yasna turns their conversation back to the Voidbringers. Shallan says that Yasna thinks that the Voidbringers will come back and admits that she read some of Yasna's notes when looking for information about soul casting. So what do you think of the powers of the Knights Radiant being based on the spren that they are bonded to, and the fact that it sounds like Yasna and Shallan would be different orders, but both can soul cast?
Kind of neat. I didn't think they were different orders, though, to be honest. But
yeah. So I think Yasna says at some point, like, I thought you would have. Oh, I guess not, because she thinks that Shallan was going to be the same order as her, and then she's like, oh, you're obviously not the same order as me.
So here's the thing, right? Well, because that just made me think of something.
Mhm.
If they're different orders,
Yeah.
like, right? I wonder if that means that only one of each order could actually exist, meaning that maybe Kaladin and Seth aren't the same. Like they don't have the same spren or whatever type of spren.
You think maybe they just share a power?
Yeah, and if so, I think that if we're saying Kaladin is one protecting and leading, what if he's brave and obedient?
It's very
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because it would make more sense since he's very obedient. I don't know about the bravery part, but the definitely obedient part.
I'm trying to place Jasmine here, but
you know, I'm literally trying to figure it out too. But the only thing I could do would be learned and giving.
I was thinking. I mean, although you probably disagree based on the murder thing,
That's
I was thinking more just and confident. Because I'm not 100%. I could probably look it up which one she is.
Oh, I mean, if it's not a thing, like, is it something that we find out in a book? Like,
I know each order would relate to one of those numbers. I just don't think I'm assuming it specifies somewhere. I just don't remember where.
While you're on there looking it up, anyways, tell me if I'm right that fucking Zeth and fucking Kaladin aren't the same fucking thing. You don't have to tell me if I'm right about which order, but I mean, it's just.
I can't tell you that. There's stuff that comes out in book 2 that would be spoilers for.
Of course.
Okay.
And Kaladin has to murder Zeth, I'm sure. I just wanted to know if he was or wasn't. You know, I don't need to know which one he is.
Associated with Zerk. Oh, they're wise, careful. Yeah.
Okay.
Wise and careful is hers.
That's who? Jazza?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking.
I was thinking just confident, but yeah, wise careful makes sense.
I mean, I like mine better, but sure, learned and giving. So.
No, I think learned and giving might be the order that I got, which is one that comes up in book 2 or 3.
But you're not either of those two things.
You're clearly not going to give the food to the
cat. Give your cats. Yeah, you don't give your cats food, and you're definitely not the most learned person.
No, but yeah, I'm happy with getting that one right.
Ernest, where do you think you would fit?
Me? Where's the murder one?
Okay, so obviously it's wise and careful then.
Huh?
He said, "Where's the murder one?"
I think I know what 1-2 is supposed to be, which would also kind of be a murderous one in my opinion.
Oh, would it now? Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, mine is the order that I associate with is the one that was Emerald, which is learned and giving.
Clearly, I would be loving and healing.
Think you'd be loving and healing?
No.
I don't.
That'd be funny though.
I mean, it'd be fun if you do end up with that one. We'll go back to the chart after. I mean, it'll give stuff.
So wait, when is this? When do we get to?
It's, I believe, either part 2 or part 3 of book 2.
Okay, why can't we just do it now?
Because you guys don't know about all the different.
Yeah, we don't know them yet.
You don't, because it literally in the epigraphs, like the epigraphs are like each epigraph is one of the different orders, and it tells you a little bit about each of them.
Okay, well. I guess we're gonna just have to wait on that. But I was saying, like, what if we figure out what we think we would fit, and then? I mean,
I could potentially do the quiz and just see, like, try and leave out whatever spoilers. So I don't think you knowing the name of the orders is much of a spoiler. It's just whether there's a spoiler in the little description it gives. But I could just read it out to you without any spoilers.
You want to do that? Go for it.
We can do it after we finish reviewing this book if you want. Yep, we can do it at the end here.
If you remember, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, that's fine. I'll tell you which one I am, and then at the end, I've done the quiz a few times to make sure, and I've always gotten the same one. I'll just tell you now. It's called Truth Watcher.
What it was? Jesus?
He's a Windrunner, like Kaladin.
Oh, like Kaladin. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're what?
I'm a Truth Watcher.
Of course you are. Why would that be? Wait, but you're saying that you got the learned and giving one, but
learned and giving is Truth Watchers.
But. Wait, what? I'm confused as fuck.
It's based on their partially based on what powers they have and partially based on.
Why wouldn't that be honest though? Truth
Watcher. I mean, the Truth Watcher don't have truth spren. That's not their spren.
Oh my god.
But anyways, where were we? What sort of spren do you guys think Yasna might have? Considering you guys have a kind of a guess for Shalon's, but what sort of spren do you think Yasna might have?
Well,
The
I
good
mean, now,
one.
now knowing what she has, I don't know, wisdom spread.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So Yasna
It's
says,
just
sorry, go ahead.
it's just fairies with big heads.
Oh gosh, he's got big brain.
Being wise doesn't mean you're
Yeah.
have a big brain, but sure.
Yasna says that religion seeks to take
Lived
natural
experience.
things and ascribe supernatural aspects to them, whereas Yasna wants to do the opposite, taking supernatural things and finding natural aspects to them. Yasna thinks that the Voidbringers have some sort of truth to them that cause the legends that are found in the Voron religion. Yasna pushes her notes towards Shalon for her to read, saying that they did fight the Voidbringers in the past, and they did defeat them. However, she says that humans aren't likely to throw away something that can be useful. Shalon realizes the way the Voidbringers are described match the description of a Parshman. Yasna says they didn't destroy the Voidbringers, they enslaved them. So what do you think about this revelation that humanity enslaved the Voidbringers?
I still hold reservations that what they think are Voidbringers are actually Voidbringers, but sure.
Then we have chapter 73, Trust. We switch to Kaladin's point of view as he waits for Dalinar while looking over the Shattered Plains. Syl is on his shoulder and he asks Syl if he dares to trust Dalinar. Syl replies that Dalinar is a good man, even though he used a shard blade, which she calls a thing. Kaladin is surprised that she seems so against the shard blade, and Syl says it just feels wrong to her and she hates it. She thinks Dalinar is a better man now that he no longer has it. Kaladin?
What if the shard blades are like molded from Bren? Like maybe that's why she doesn't like it, you know?
Wait, I feel like you've said something like that before.
I feel like I have to be honest.
Cause I just wanted to make the Moonlight Lantern comment, and I feel like I've said that too.
I mean, all we
Yeah.
know about shard blades is like they were originally things that the Radiants had.
And
I want to
then
see that
they're
one
call-
blue
and
guy
they're calling-
again.
And they're calling Kaladin a Radiant, right?
A Radiant
So-
trait. Teftis, he's not quite a Radiant. He's like, you have to get to a certain like point in the ideals to become a Radiant, but you're like on your way there.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, so he's on his way there, so he has to turn Syl into a weapon.
You think Syl's gonna just turn into a sword?
No,
I mean, she had her
don't.
own
I
sword
think
at one
she's
point.
gonna meld with him, though.
Oh,
I
she
think
did
she's
have her
gonna-
own sword, huh?
Yeah,
hmm
I think she's gonna meld with him. Like that's what I think is gonna happen.
Oh my god, he's gonna get pretty little wings.
Um,
That's how he flies.
Kaladin thinks about the Parshendi Shardbearer and feels bothered for attacking them during a fight when they were honorable, enough to not attack his wounded bridgeman.
Yeah, honor spren.
So Kaladin asks Syl if you can kill to protect or if it's a contradiction, and Syl replies that she doesn't know. He also notes that she left the battlefield at one point, and she replies that killing hurt her, even though she encouraged Kaladin to go help Dalinar and to fight. Kaladin says that fighting the Parshendi seemed wrong, but also not saving Dalinar would have been wrong. Syl replies that she doesn't have all the answers to these questions. So why do you
What are
think?
you good for
Yeah.
then, Syl?
So what do you think about Syl's uncertainty about the fight against the Parshendi?
Man, she seems too human.
I feel like she doesn't have it yet. She's still got room to grow, you know?
I mean, she hates
Still
Odium.
learning.
If you're right about the if them like not fully being the Voidbringers or not fully being under Odium or something, then it might make sense why she doesn't like fighting them.
What was the other? There was another name they gave. I don't remember now. Cultivation. Is that what the other one was?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Cultivation's
that
gonna
was
get brought
like-
up in a little bit when Dalinar has his last vision here.
But I mean, so I mean, and then he says this dude says he's a god, and then I'm like, okay, so what is he?
Well, he's the one that we haven't gotten the name yet for. You guys have been
I
guessing at the
know.
name.
I know. I wish he would have just told me his name.
Yeah, because you guys have been guessing this whole time, like, oh, it seems to be like all of these planets seem to basically have 2 shards. No, this one has 3.
No, I just feel like Odium isn't part of this planet. I think
Hmm.
Odium is kind of like what Ruin wanted to do
Yeah,
and leave his own planet.
escaped.
Odium escaped his planet and is now, killing other shards.
So Dalinar then arrives, and Kaladin thinks that he looks impressive with his muscular build and pressed uniform. Dalinar asks after Kaladin's men,
Somebody's getting a little hot and heavy there.
God. And Kaladin says that they are well taken care of. Dalinar had gotten his men
I
medical
bet.
help even before the Light-Eyed soldiers. Dalinar then asks Kaladin how many men will accept his offer of some spheres and freedom, and Kaladin replies that likely a fair number would, but a larger number won't, because they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. Kaladin also says that Bridge 4 will likely follow whatever he does, although he hasn't decided what he'll do yet. So what do you think about Dalinar giving medical attention to the Bridgemen before his own men?
I thought
mean,
that
to be
was
fair,
honorable.
They did save him.
Yeah, I
they
mean,
saved his-
they're the reason they're all alive. Also, what do you think about Dalinar's offer to protect, or offer to the Bridgemen of freedom or joining them? He's like, you can go, I'll give you money, I'll pay off your slave debt, or you can join me.
And I won't pay off your slave debt. You'll still be slaves.
No, I think he still pays off their slave debt. It's just I'll either give you spheres to leave, or you can work in my
I'll be right
army. What do you think about that, Darkness?
I mean, yeah, I kind of expected it at that point, especially with the amount of men he lost. But like,
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah, no
it's pretty cool that he still gives them an option,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, either you stay slaves under me or you are free men. Which one do you choose?
So Downer briefly
The-
brings up
the-
that
I'm sorry,
Yep.
but the answer that Kaladin gives after that, where he's like, "I'm not sure if they would take freedom," kind of
Yeah.
made me feel weirded out because, like, you sure they wouldn't pick freedom?
I don't think they would have. I kind of agree with Kaladin. I don't
Well,
think
yeah,
they
because he
would have
says like
chosen
they've
freedom.
been so beaten down, like told what to do for so long that he's like, I don't know if they would know where to go or what to do. Like they'd rather just be like, okay, this is the opportunity I can have instead. Let me just take this over. Absolutely no idea.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Because it also depends how long they've been slaves for. I think that's why he's like, quite a few probably will take freedom, which is, I'm assuming, probably the men who were made slaves more recently. Or, like, I know that there's some bridgemen as well who aren't even slaves, so he's probably like, those guys will probably just do whatever they were doing beforehand. But the guys who have been, like, beaten down and broken slaves for, like, years probably will just do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Kaladin. I don't think they would know what to do with themselves
Mm-hmm.
if they weren't slaves. I think they've probably been slaves too long.
So Downer briefly brings up that Kaladin ordered around Adel and other Lightite officers, but he isn't upset, but instead he says he owes Kaladin his life twice over now. Downer then says that he and the king are going to upset the war camps, and he wants Kaladin and Bridgefort to become his honor guard. He also wants Kaladin to train the other bridgemen to become soldiers to help replace some of the men he lost, that he feels he can trust the bridgemen more than the other soldiers, as Sadeas can plant spies or bribe others. Kaladin states he'll agree to this as long as his men get paid like any other man in the honor guard, and that he gets full rights to training his men how he wishes, and that none of the bridgemen need to answer to any Lightites except for Dalnar, his sons, and the king, since Dalnar is worried about other Lightites being traitors and helping Sadeas. Dalnar
I don't
agrees.
feel like it's gonna actually work the way he thinks it is, but sure.
Dalnar agrees
Like
to
in
this.
reality, yeah, in reality, I don't feel like that would work, right? Like if somebody is above him in rank, they're gonna be that person that's like, I'm above you in rank, even no
I
matter
feel like
what somebody
Kaladin won't
does.
take that shit, but it depends if like the other bridgemen will.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kaladin also asks that the bridgemen aren't sent on plateau assaults as soldiers for at least a year, and instead they do the policing duties that Dalnar's men have been known to do. Dalnar again agrees and names Kaladin a captain, and they shake on it. So what do you think about Dalnar wanting Kaladin to be in charge of his honor guard and Bridgefort to be that honor guard?
Sorry, I was just thinking about that time where you looked up the freaking picture of the bridge
Mm-hmm.
crew.
Yeah.
Well, they're not bridge crew anymore.
Nope. They still call themselves Bridgefort, though.
Yeah, so like, is it because of this, or is it because there's more to come? Cause
There's more to come, I'm sure.
Yeah. So the reason specifically that I couldn't get a lot of good pictures of the bridgemen for you guys was because they obviously Kaladin agrees to become Dalnar's guards, and so all of them are wearing like the colon blue uniforms, and I'm like,
okay,
I can't show you that.
Yeah.
Like I can't show you them in the fucking soldier
you show us
uniforms.
Okay, but that was cute. He gave him his little coat.
He did give him his little
Yeah.
coat. There's still a couple spoilers from the next book in some of these pictures.
Of course, there is. Always gonna be spoilers.
There's always spoilers. I mean, Kaladin's one of the main characters. It's hard to
Oh my
find
God,
pictures of main characters
let me
without
not
like most
say
recent
that.
stuff.
Actually, no, yeah. What if he ends up actually getting that fair plate stuff?
Yeah. What if he ends up with a Shardblade? What if like
Not
certain
a
guys
Shardblade.
die?
No,
What if
fucking
certain
no.
people join Bridge 4 from like other bridges? Like we don't know what's gonna happen, so I don't want to give away stuff because it's like you're gonna be like, who's this person potentially, or like why is this person not there, or why do they have this thing?
When are we going back to Mistborn?
So we're gonna read book 2 of Stormlight, and then after book 2, I'm gonna ask you guys, do you want to do Mistborn Era 2 first, or do you want to continue with Stormlight for a little bit longer? So it's gonna be up to you guys at the end of the next book. But I just really wanted to get through the first 2 books of Stormlight before doing any other books.
I see.
Because especially the last book of Era 2 of Mistborn has a lot more references to other Cosmere stuff, including Stormlight. So I wanted to make sure you had some Stormlight knowledge before going into that. So Galadin then gifts Kaladin his cape and with his glyph on it, saying that any man who wears his colors is a part of his family. Kaladin accepts the gift and they part ways. Kaladin makes his way to the barracks and finds Bridge 4 sitting around a fire as Rock makes stew. Kaladin says they should be resting, but Moish replies that it didn't feel right to sleep until they've done this, like they do every night. Tef then mentions that they've been talking about Kaladin's powers, and suddenly the men are asking Kaladin questions about what he can do and whether he can teach them. Lopen even jokes that if he could glow, the ladies would be all over him. I love Lopin's little comment. He's like, the ladies would be like, Lopin, you can glow. Kiss me now.
Yeah, totally. That's how that would work. Oh.
I love Lopin. The Lopin is the best.
He's
Also,
probably dead soon anyway.
what did you think about Dalinar gifting Kaladin his cape?
You know how I feel.
That's so cute.
He's like, you're family now. Now he's got 3 sons.
He's courting him.
He's courting Navani.
He's courting him too. He's giving more gifts to him than he has to Navani.
No, it's one of his sons will continue the thing of like, you're kind of my brother, so now let me court you. So it's gonna be Adolin or Renarin courting Kaladin.
Oh my god.
They're gonna continue the incestuous but non-incestuous.
Well, Adolin already has a little spark with him, so.
They met each other.
Motherfucker commanded him, what do you mean?
So Kaladin then takes in some Stormlight to show the men how he glows when he uses it, and mentions that he isn't exactly sure what all he can do with these powers. Scar begins asking all sorts of questions that Kaladin can't answer, and Scar replies that they should find out what the limits of his powers are. Kaladin then has his men promise not to tell anyone else about his powers, and they all easily agree. Scar continues on about what tests they should do, and Rock suggests throwing Kaladin off a cliff, but a small one since he likes Kaladin. And that's when Kaladin makes a little comment about, I'm going to stick you to the fucking ceiling so you don't touch me. As Kaladin thinks about what they went through, a few of the other bridgemen that they helped in the past wander over and join them. He thinks that although 3 of his men had died, he had saved hundreds of men in turn, and for now, having saved some people was enough. So what do you think about Kaladin being able to finally save people, and thus being able to accept the few deaths of the men he couldn't save?
Well, for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm alright for now.
So chapter 74, Ghost Blood. We move back to Shallan's point of view after finishing the majority of Yasna's notes about the Voidbringers. She agrees that there is no other explanation that the Parshmen are the Voidbringers. Yasna says that although the Parshmen seem docile, the Parshendi show that they could become ferocious warriors. The Parshmen are in every part of their society, and if what is said about the Parshendi are true, their minds could all be connected. Yasna asks if Shallan is ready for this daunting journey, and Shallan briefly considers her brothers, but thinks that this is much bigger than her and her family, so she agrees. So do you think the Parshmen could suddenly, like, become more kind of capable like the Parshendi, and eventually become the Voidbringers like in the Legends? I mean, we've kind of talked about this, but, like, do you think, like, the Parshendi can, or the Parshmen can be, like, unenslaved?
Yeah. I feel like it could definitely be a trigger. Like that one dude, what even happened to him?
Which one? The one in Bridge 4? He's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they mentioned that Shen is, sitting with them around the campfire. They brought him back from Sadeas' war camp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. They
The
mention
poor
that.
dude, bruh.
At least they don't have to wear the Parshendi armor anymore.
Yeah, no, they get other armor now.
They'll just slaughter every fucking Parshendi on sight.
Well, Kaladin
feel like
Spilly
they
says
should
he's
continue to
not
wear
going to
the
fight the
Parshendi.
Parshendi.
I feel like they should continue to wear the Parshendi armor, to be honest. But
It's a good
probably better
style.
than any other. It's probably better than any other armor they put on.
So Yasna
Unless
said,
it's Shardblade, of course.
Yasna says that they need to head off to the Shared Plains. She also says that there is another group looking into this, the group that wants her assassinated, the Ghostbloods. She states that Kabsal was part of them, and that he had tattooed on his arm the same symbol that Shallan's brother had sent her that their father's steward had. Shallan instantly recognizes the symbol and tells Yasna that she thinks her father may have been part of this group. So what do you think about the Ghostbloods, which is, as I mentioned previously, is the group that Amaran spoke of previously, and they were the ones attempting to take Yasna's life.
They're the true bad guys of this entire thing.
Do you think, Darkness?
I don't disagree actually, but I feel like it's because all of this is. I feel like most of this book is just perspective based.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a lot of potential bad guys, and you don't know who's the real bad guys. Like, there's the Ghostbloods, there's Teravangian, there's the actual Shard
Midnight.
Odium, there's the potential Voidbringers.
I said there's midnight.
So what does the symbol look like?
So I can resend it to you 1 second. Where's the Ghostblood symbol? This is the Ghostblood symbol. That's what it looks like.
Is this the first time we've heard Ghostbloods though?
No, remember Amaran mentions it in one of Kaladin's flashbacks when
No,
Amaran
this
kills all his
series.
men.
This series, as in like they're not world hoppers, right?
Yes, this is the first book that we've heard about the
Okay,
Ghostbloods.
Okay.
So chapter 75, which is technically the last chapter before the epilogue, is In the Top Room, which I believe is a bit of a reference to.
All I gotta say is the epilogue should have been a chapter.
But yeah, so In the Top Room, I believe, is a slight reference to that one story that Hoyd tells, where there's the dead king in the top room of the tower.
Interesting.
So we switch back to Dalinar's point of view as he and Navani cuddle close to each other as a high storm approaches. Navani was upset with Dalinar for how he treated Elhokar, but her joy at having him back and alive dampened that anger. Suddenly his vision hits, and Dalinar accepts it, wanting answers from the person giving them to him after the betrayal from Sadeas. Dalinar opens his eyes and sees a world of smoke and rock. Random objects appear in the smoke and then disappear, even a figure of a man. At first, Dalinar thinks that he has never had a vision like this, but then remembers that this was the first vision he had ever seen. The voice then speaks, telling Dalinar to unite them. Dalinar tries to demand answers, but the voice stops speaking, and he is transported to a normal rocky area with the normal sun in the sky. So what do you think about this different vision? Where he's like not just like a random person, he seems to be himself.
Wait, is Dalinar's vision?
Yeah, so this is apparently the first vision Dalinar ever had, and it seems that, like, I believe based on the way he speaks, the god speaks at the end, this seems to be like the
It's a
first
future
and
vision.
last of the set of visions.
It's a future vision,
What do you
right?
think? Maybe.
I don't think it's a future. I don't think it's a future.
Well, the god was talking about how it's a little harder for him to see in the future, but
Mm-hmm.
that's the only reason I believe it's a future vision.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I feel it differently there. I think he knows that Dalinar or somebody, is looking back at this in the past, back into the past,
Mhm.
and is talking about that. And because he can't look into the future to see the person who he's technically talking to or what they might be saying to him, he's kind of has to just go based on like what he thinks they might be saying, and trying to give them as many answers as possible.
So the god does say that he is able to see a little bit into the future, but he says it's like shattered glass, and he's very bad at it.
Yes.
Yeah. So he technically
Just-
can, but just not very well compared to other shards. Because we know also other shards are able to see in the future. Like Preservation was able to see into the future. I think technically Ruin probably would be able to be, because when Vin and Sazed take Preservation's power, they can like see all these possible ways that they could like win.
Gold. Yeah, gold.
Mhm.
It showed the future. But like what I was like, so I don't know if any of you have seen the Doctor Who movie.
I've seen
or
some
movie
Doctor Who,
show
not all of it.
with
Yeah.
there's an episode with the Weeping Angels,
Mhm.
and one of the things that the Doctor does is he records himself talking to them, because the one dude writes everything down so that like in the future he's reading this whatever, right?
Mhm.
But in their past, or in the past or whatever, they're now watching this video of him talking. And I think it's the reverse of that. I think he knows that somebody's going to talk to him, or not talk to him, see him at some point, and so he is attempting to, talk to them
Yeah.
through a vision of the past.
Yeah. So he says that like he doesn't know who's viewing these. It seems like he's set out a series of visions that are to be sent out to someone in the future. Because he says he's dead already. So he's like, I've sent these out. And we know that Gavilar might have been having these visions before Dalinar. And we also, in one of the epigraphs, there's a mention of someone having visions during high storms. So, like, there might have been other people, maybe even in the past, that have seen these visions and it never, like, worked out for them. Like, we don't know if Dalinar's the only one or if there's been, like, hundreds of people who have seen these visions, but, like, he's been somehow sent these visions to the future for someone to stop what is coming.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, so like,
Mhm.
I think Dalinar has the past, and
Yeah, I think
somebody will have-
what Darkness is saying is that, like, the god was able to see a little bit into the future, even though he's not good at it, and he sent this vision of what the future may look like. Right, Darkness?
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
I hate not being good at words in general.
It's okay.
I feel like I've taken this whole like episode of this podcast to say like 30 minutes worth of like stuff
Mhm.
in like 3 instances.
So Dalinar walks for a while until he sees a destroyed Kolinar, not a version of it in the past, but a version that looks to be from the present. Suddenly a man with dark skin and white hair appears beside Dalinar and says that he cannot fight him any longer. Dalinar again tries to demand answers, but the man just points to a storm forming in the distance. But the storm looks wrong to Dalinar. Suddenly, Dalinar realizes that the man is repeating exactly what he said the first time Dalinar was in this vision. So what did you think about the voice not actually speaking to Dalinar, but just reciting lines?
And like I said, he's trying to give information without actually being able to know what the other side is saying.
I think maybe it was Darkness, but I think in the past you might have briefly said during one of the visions, like, I wonder if he's not actually talking to Dalinar and just like speaking randomly.
I mean, I said he was talking in general to just
Oh, was it you?
whoever Dalinar might be sitting with, and like no
Mhm.
matter what Dalinar says, it's not gonna change anything.
Yeah. Because, yeah, Dalinar always thought that he was just talking to him in riddles. It's like, no, he doesn't hear what you're saying. He's just talking. He's just trying to give you information, dude. So the man says that he cannot see the future well, but cultivation capitalized, can see it better than he can. Dalinar realizes the man could never hear him and has never answered his questions. Dalinar had just assumed he had been. The voice hadn't told him to trust Sadeas. The man continues to speak, saying that this is in the
Shocker.
that this is the future he fears, and it is the true desolation. The voice also says they don't know who Dalinar is, but that they hope these visions have given him a foundation for understanding what may happen and what happened in the past. So yeah, we finally get this mention of cultivation, which was the final shard that Chris mentions to Kelsier in Secret History. So apparently this one god, knows cultivation well. Cultivation's better at seeing into the future than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys finally excited to figure out where cultivation was from?
I mean, I had a feeling already, so.
Wait, cultivation's from here?
Yeah, so that's what this guy's kind of implying. He's like, oh, I know cultivation. Cultivation's better at seeing into the future than me. So the whole land then shatters and disappears, except for a small platform where Dalinar is standing. Dalinar states that this is just like a journal that Dalinar can see instead of read. The man then says that he is gone and that this isn't just about Dalinar, as the stars in the sky begin to disappear. The man says it's about all of them, and that he should have realized it would come for him. The man then asks if Dalinar wishes to fight the person he fears, and Dalinar says yes. He says that someone must lead them, someone must unite them, and someone must protect them. Dalinar says he will do it. So what do you think this imagery of the world disappearing and then the stars disappearing means?
The universe, the Cosmere, is being destroyed slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can't be the end of the fucking world or anything like that.
Yeah, so I think he's implying here that Odium isn't just here to destroy their world, but like he's here to destroy like all of the shards. He's going after everyone, not just this guy that he killed and not just the Rosharans. He's like, this is a bigger thing than just even your planet. Because Odium's already killed other shards.
Yeah, killed cultivation.
He killed Ambition.
No, but he also killed cultivation.
You think Cultivation's also dead?
I think everybody's dead.
Everyone except for Sazed?
Nope, everybody's dead. Sazed is
Okay.
dead too.
Damn, that sucks.
I think we're living in his past right now.
The man then says, life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. The Knights Radiant must stand again. Dalinar says he doesn't know how to do that, but he will try. The man says that they said that they
nobody, like, really.
The man says that they said they had won, but they had actually lost. The man says that the best way to defeat him may be to force him into a contest of champions, that he seems concerned that they don't have the Dawn Shards. The man then reveals that he is the Almighty, whom they call God, and that Odium has killed him. So what do you think about this random mention of...
So,
Go ahead.
is this Storm Daddy?
Yeah, it's totally Storm Daddy.
We don't know.
'Cause if Storm Daddy's
He's
dead-
a dark-eyed, or not dark-eyed, he's a dark-skinned man with white hair. This is like probably the vessel of...
But he also called himself
shard.
the Almighty, so.
Yeah.
So he's definitely Storm Daddy.
So yeah, he could be Storm Daddy.
We got
Oh God. But yeah, what do you think about this mention of Dawn Shards? Which I think we've heard that name once before, but we've had no explanation for what they are.
Yeah. It comes with the Dawn Bears or whatever that fucking word is. I don't know.
The
Dawnbringers? Dawnbringers?
was it Dawnbringers? I know that the language is the Dawn Chant. The
I know
Dawn-
that too.
Fuck,
'cause
what was
I
the
made
people
it.
name? The Dawn. Oh, was it the Dawn Singers? I think it may have been the
La, la,
Dawn
la.
Singers. Yeah, the Dawn Singers. That's what they were. The
That's
Dawn
what the
Singers and the
Prescendi
Dawn
are.
Chant.
That's what the Prescendi are.
You think the Parshendi are the Dawn Singers, the ancient people that built the original cities of Roshar?
Hell yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
And then we get an epilogue in Wit's point of view called Of Most Worth.
First
That's
off,
such a boring epilogue.
when we got into the like this next like
The part,
word,
part 5.
yeah, like the next part.
Where it was like,
whatever,
Wit's
and
point
it
of view.
give you, yeah, it gives you all of the people's point
Yeah.
of views, and I'm like, wait, you just said Wit. Fuck yeah, I want to know what fucking Wit's doing.
Wit's just chilling. He's waiting for someone.
I mean, I literally waited the entire time going, oh, that's not a Wit. Where's the Wit?
I will
Where's
give
the
you
Wit
a-
perspective?
I'll give you a little thing. Every epilogue in Stormlight is a Wit POV.
Wait.
So every epilogue at the end of each Stormlight book is going to have a Wit POV.
Oh my god.
We get a little bit
wonderful
of Wit at the end of every single Stormlight book.
Yay, wonderful.
So we move to Wit's point of view as he says that something has changed, and it was the sound of the world pissing itself. The 3 nearby guards seem uncomfortable as they try to ignore him, as Wit has blue eyes, and thus they didn't dare do anything about him. Wit thinks that ranking people by eye color was strange, but no more strange than what he's seen in other places. One of the guards asks what Wit is doing, and Wit replies that he's waiting for the storm, which seems to confuse the guard as a high storm is not expected for tonight. So yeah, were you, just in general, excited about the Wit point of view? Yay, Wit.
I don't really like Wit.
You don't like Wit? You don't like Hoyd?
No.
No, it's Wit. It's not Hoyd. There's no Hoyd anymore. It's
He
all
says
Wit.
his name is Hoyd. He tells
Okay,
Della
I
that.
feel like he acts a bit differently as Hoyd though.
Not really. I think we just get more of him in this book than we have in other books, so you just haven't seen a lot of him,
Maybe.
obviously.
Maybe I just don't like him in general.
Maybe. I think the most we get out of him is in Secret History when he talks to Kelsier.
You see, I like that version of him,
When he punches Kelsier in the face.
essentially. I don't know why I don't like him now.
I love Wit. But yeah, so Wit begins playing an instrument called the enther and asks the guards what it is that men value the most in others. What talent would be most valued? One guard suggests music. Wit replies that he once asked 3 wise men this question, and one said artistic ability, one said intellect, and one said the ability to invent. Wit says that most people would choose something like that, and that they are beautiful liars. One of the guards then asks Wit what the most valuable talent is, to which Wit replies that he doesn't know, but that wasn't the real question. It was what men value most. Wit then says it's novelty, that men value the most, as no matter how artistic or intelligent you are, if you aren't the first to do something, then it isn't valued. So do you agree that novelty is what people value the most?
Personally, I don't think so.
No. What do I think people value the most? I think
Mhm.
people value.
I would say life.
I don't know about that. There's a lot of war.
Gonna say,
Yeah, but what is the war fought for?
Power,
money, power.
Yeah, you can't enjoy that if you don't have life.
But I don't think it's so there's a difference between it being like their goal and like their ultimate just being. Okay, like you can't not be alive. Like it's just not possible. If you're not alive, you're not doing anything at all anymore. So
I mean, you could.
you saying that their whole goal is to be live isn't. But I mean, I still I don't think it's the way that they're trying to go about it, like saying it's like the artistic or creative sides and whatever he said. I think he said music or whatever to him.
Yeah, the one guard said music. I think he's basically saying music. 'Cause he's like, there's this crazy guy sitting on these boxes and he's playing an instrument. Is it music?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what Wit's saying though. With like, yeah, like no one cares about the person who invents something second, or the person who completes something second, or does like the second best of anything. It's always the first person who did it. But suddenly, something pounds on the gate doors, and Wit says that the storm has come. A third loud boom comes from the doors before a Shardblade cuts through, revealing a man with dark skin and a scraggly appearance. Wit whispers a welcome to the man, calling him Lost One. The guards demand to know who the man is as he walks forward, dragging his Shardblade behind him. The man has dark eyes, and he begins shouting for the men to raise the alarm, as he is Talinel Elin, Stone Sinew, Herald of the Almighty. He says that the desolation has come, and that he has failed. The man then falls to the ground, but his Shardblade does not disappear. The guards prod at the man, but he doesn't move. Wit then whispers that men value novelty, but also timeliness, and that the man may have come too late. So what do you think about Talinel Elin coming back from Damnation and saying that the desolation is coming? So this is the guy that was left behind by himself in Damnation. If what he says is true.
What was the question?
What do you think about this guy coming back? This potential herald who was left behind for 4,500 years in Damnation.
He's totally gonna be fine.
What do you think, Mythic?
I mean, I definitely don't think he's gonna be fine.
Do you guys think this is really the herald, as he says he is?
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, being in Damnation is what's supposed to hold back the desolation. So the fact that he's back means that, as he said, the desolation is coming. Also, do you guys think he's dead? Or is he just passed out?
Dead? Yes, I think he's
dead.
You think he's dead? Do you think he's dead?
Yeah,
Darkness?
because his sword didn't disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, he's fine. He's just recovering from all those years in hell.
He needs to sleep a bit. He's been fucked up in Damnation for 4,500 years or so.
You know what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he hasn't even slept. So.
So that was our final chapter, and I've got several book overview questions. First of all, what do you think this quest that the Dead Shard has given Dalinar will mean for the future of the series?
Yes.
Wait, what's the question?
What do you think that this quest that the Dead Shard has given Dalinar will mean for the rest of the Stormlight Archive? Because he basically wants Dalinar to stop Odium. That's the quest he gave him.
I mean, I feel like it's not going to change too much. He's already kind of on the path of doing exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just going to kind of... I mean, I don't think he's going to take it as seriously. He's already believed that the guy was lying to him at one point. So
Dalinar's going to die.
That's what Taravangian wants.
Everybody dies.
And then it's going to be Deadlinar.
Oh, God.
Also...
I mean...
Oh, go ahead.
Go on. No, you're good.
I was just going to go to the next question. You go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you're good. I was just saying, I mean, if he gets resurrected, I guess, but I don't think he's going to die. I don't think he's going to die until, literally, if if he dies, it'll be the end of the book,
Hmm.
like the series or whatever.
I don't think so.
Do you think that all of our main characters are going to meet up in the next book, since Yasna and Shallan are now wanting to head to the Shattered Plains, or do you think something is going to
Yes.
keep them from getting there?
No, I definitely think they're all gonna be there. They're gonna all
And
meet
then
each other.
that one dude has to kill Dalinar.
Yeah, he's also
And
going to show
then-
up at some point, which leads into
There's
my
gotta
next
be 10
question.
people, right?
If there's only one from each order.
So it's at least 10 people.
How do you think Taravangian and Zeth are going to affect things in the next book, now that you know that what Taravangian's kind of like doing behind the scenes?
How do I say that again?
How do you think Taravangian and Zeth are going to affect things in the next
Oh,
book?
okay. I heard Taravangian's death. I was like, wait, are you telling us he dies? Like,
No, Taravangian and Zeth.
oh, I mean, I feel like Zeth is either gonna betray him or somebody's gonna get the Oath Stone from Taravangian to be able to, And
His
then,
name is so familiar to me for some reason.
who,
Taravangian?
who?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't think he has a similar name.
I'm having one of those moments where
Is it Tanavast you're thinking of?
I don't know.
Because that's what the Stormfather calls Kaladin, is child of Tanavast at one point.
Maybe.
Also, do you think we are going to continue to see more types of Radiants now that we have confirmed Yasna and Shallan are both Radiants?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get at least 10.
So to God. Sort of Storm Daddy.
In general, what do you think the main plot point of the next book will be? So, like, what's going to be like the main focus of just the next book?
Killing Nodium.
The uniting of everyone.
I think that's all going to happen just in the next book when there's going to be 10 total
Yep.
Stormlight books. Also, how would you rate this book compared to the other books we have read?
0.
I mean, in comparison to the other books, it's above everything except Warbreaker.
Do you think it's your second
It
favorite?
was. Yeah, mainly because I don't even remember the other two. I mean, no. I think Mistborn is still above it at the current moment, but only slightly.
What do you think, Darkness?
I didn't like the beginning of it though.
Mm.
Well, I
That's
didn't
why-
like the.
That's why I'm saying Mistborn would be a little above it, but that's because we've already finished a lot of Mistborn.
I
Yeah,
feel
you
like
got
I'm
a
not gonna
full
like the
era instead of
second-
just one book.
I feel like I'm not gonna like the second era of Mistborn that much.
Mm.
But
Second era of Mistborn is Cowboys, right? Like Wild West.
Yeah, it's a like
yeah, type of shit.
kind of like Wild West era. It's like kind of like Industrial Revolution, Wild West kind of era.
Gotcha.
They have guns.
Yeah, guns. Yay. You know the thing
wanna
that
get to,
everyone was
like-
trying to stop them from having.
I want to get to like modern times.
I mean, don't we jump to space? What are you talking about?
Well, I think the next era of Mistborn, which apparently he's writing next, now that Stormlight 5 is coming out this year, is going to be like Cold War era.
Oh yeah, okay. I remember you saying something about.
Yeah, so it's going to be
Space,
close
though.
to modern era. Yeah, space is supposed to be the final era. of
Well, I
Mistborn.
saw like
The
a
Final
fucking
Frontier?
cover
Got it.
book of like Mistborn and it was like fucking towers and shit, like actual cities.
Yeah, they have like actual like larger cities now. Yeah.
It
And
literally
Asia,
looked
too.
like LA for no reason.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's not that advanced. Like the technology level is kind of like I think in like the fourth book they like just start to get cars.
We have the technology.
Wait, so they jump from starting to get cars
To
to
Cold
space
War
travel.
era. No, to Cold War era and then to space era.
Okay.
Era 3 is going to be Cold War. I believe Era 4 is going to be like space travel. And Era 3 is the one that's coming next. Also, how do you like this magic system so far compared to others?
Can you imagine how car crashes
there's a
are going to
magic
happen?
Yeah, right. There's a magic system in this.
Like, how do you like the Stormlight powers compared to, say, like, Allomancy or, like, Breath or...
There's powers in this.
We don't get a lot of it yet, but...
There's breasts in this?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Shallan and Yasna.
And it depends how built in Kaladin and Dalinar are.
Alright, do we want to quickly do the
you have the
rating
time?
order test?
The way
Yes.
we didn't even fucking enter it, actually.
Yeah, we should... Well, no, I was going to end it after we do the test. I was going to include it as the end of book 1 recording.
No, I mean like the question.
Did you? Oh yeah, I guess we didn't really. What they just
I
kept
didn't
saying?
even
What?
rank 'em.
What?
I didn't
what-
even rank them.
But they just kept saying what magic system.
Yeah, what magic system? I mean, there's no magic system in this.
I feel like it's mostly in the same order, but I don't know.
Same order that you've read it.
No, it's. I feel like this is gonna be really weird. So the Elantris one
Mhm.
is gonna be above like the first Mistborn book now.
Oh, for your book order, yeah.
Yeah, and then the second book from Mistborn is gonna be above Elantris. And I feel like I feel like this one goes on top of Elantris and before the second Mistborn book.
Hmm.
We read the third one, right? Yeah, there was
Yep.
a third one.
Yep.
The third one would be on top of that, and then it would be
Warbreaker.
Warbreaker on the top.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's how it would go. And I feel like there's a lot more variety in this world, but I feel like it's because there's more shards or whatever with the magic system. So
Fair enough. We also just don't have a full grasp yet, fully, of the magic system here yet.
yeah, but with what we do have, we still have a lot more variety because they literally do like half the shit that Mistborn does. Well, more than half the shit that Mistborn does, and it doesn't have to necessarily be metal. So,
Alright.
so all this talk of champions is pretty interesting, you know.
Yeah. Because you guys have been saying for a while there's gonna be like some big contest.
There's gonna
at
be
the
a
end.
fucking tournament, bro. I'm saying it right here, you know.
Alright. Yes. So how the Radiant Quiz works is you get two opposing like traits or like ways of thinking, and you have to say like which you're more of. So like you can do like a percentage, like you're 50-50, you're 75-25 of one, or you're like 100% 0%.
So
So
are we doing this one by one, or are we doing?
I was
each of
gonna
this-
I was gonna do you guys at the same time. I have it open on two different monitors.
Okay.
So there's heart on
Two
sleeve
separate
versus
tabs.
poker face. Are you more the type of person to have your heart on your sleeve or to have a poker face? How much more heart and sleeve? Like fully or like 75%?
Oh. Percentage wise.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Percentages.
Well, you don't have to do fully percentage. You could just say like half and half, mostly this one, or fully this one. I can
I
kind
feel like
of...
it's mostly
Yeah.
Mostly
Mostly
poker
hard on
face.
sleeve. Well, okay, so mostly hard on sleeve, most are poker face. All
Alright, I'm gonna do mythic heart on sleeve 75% and darkness 75% poker face. Sound good? For mostly 75% one way?
yeah.
And the next one is confident versus needs reassurance.
Confident versus what?
Needs reassurance. So are you confident or do you need reassurance from others?
75% reassurance.
I'm 100% confident.
You're 100% confident? Okay. Cautious versus daring.
That's a 50-50. You can't
Yeah,
know with
same.
me.
Okay, honestly,
Same? Okay. Do you prefer library or dojo?
dojo.
Ah,
Like
shit.
How much?
5% dojo.
I think it's 75% library for me.
Okay. Do you prefer to be part of a team or on your own?
I'd have to say 50-50.
It's mostly my own.
75% on your own.
Yeah.
Are you a peacemaker or a firebrand?
Firebrand, 100%.
That's a interesting question. I'd say it's like 75 firebrand or whatever.
Okay. Are you more spiritual or skeptical?
50-50.
Yeah, same. 50-50.
Are you more of a leader or a facilitator?
The fuck is the
Leader,
facilitator?
100%.
Facilitator is like
Did you say Fatilla leader?
facilitator.
Oh my god. That was great. Oh, that was the funniest shit.
A facilitator is someone that makes an action or process easier for others.
Probably
Sorry, what did you say, Mythic, for
95%
yours?
that.
What was that?
I said, what did you say for yours? I think you said you were leaning more towards leader, but how much?
Leadership, 75 for leader.
Are you more of a guard dog or an alley cat?
Oh fuck.
Dog, 100%.
So, like, guard dog is more like you're loyal and protecting of people. Alley cat's more like you look out for yourself and you're, like, kind of scrappy.
Dog,
Mm,
100%.
yeah. I'd
You
say
would-
75 for dog.
Okay.
I don't feel like I'm 100% most things, honestly.
Are you more compassionate or dispassionate?
75%
75%
dispassionate.
passionate. 75% passionate. Nice. Funny.
I like how we're the opposite for a lot of the
Mhm.
things.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
They even
complete
says they want to do
opposites.
this test this time instead of next book.
Oh, I see.
Are you more heart or head?
Oh,
Heart, 75.
Heart 75? Did you say darkness?
I'm backwards.
Head 75?
Yeah. You gotta have good head, you know?
Flamboyant or reserved?
50-50.
Yeah, same.
Right.
Because I feel like it depends mostly, you know, on the situations.
Are you more letter of the law or spirit of the law?
Oh my
The fuck
god.
does that mean?
So letter of the law is like, this is the
Like, you
exact way
follow
it
the
says
book
it. Spirit of the
per-
law is more
per
like
way it
murder
says
is
it.
wrong,
Spirit
it's
is
just
what-
wrong. No
Okay,
matter what.
so
Wait, what?
darkness. I'm gonna give you an example. All right, with Siobhan, not Siobhan.
With Jasna's murder thing.
With Jasna murdering those people, right? The letter of the law would state that that is murder because she killed people, right? Where the spirit of the law would be like she killed them for this reason, so maybe it's not murder. You know, a little more leniency off of that.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going 75% more of the letter of the law. So
Yeah, I'm gonna do the opposite.
of course you are.
Not surprised. I was also very much more spirit of the law.
Mhm.
Are you more free-spirited or disciplined?
50-50.
I'm trying to think. I'd say it's 75 more, like 75 free spirited.
Okay. Are you more obedient or rebellious?
That's funny. 100% rebellious.
50-50.
50-50? Okay. Creative or conventional?
75 creative. Okay, Darkness, you can be on the
I
same
think
side of me.
I think it'd be 50-50.
Dependable or flexible?
Flexible, 100%.
50-50.
Do you think outside the box or color inside the lines?
Outside.
50-50.
Sorry, what did you
Depends
say,
on
Dickness?
situation.
I'd say it's like 75 outside.
Tense versus relaxed.
75
tense.
tenths.
Yep. Wow, we're both there on that one.
Alright, both 75% tense. Decisive or indecisive?
75
50-50.
indecisive.
50-50.
50-50, okay. Likes change or likes stability?
75 stability.
Same.
Okay. Planner or spontaneous?
Did you say slander?
Planner or spontaneous?
Oh, like that shit. If I could do like a 90%, I would.
You can.
I'd do 90%
Told you it's
planner.
percentages. I told you it's percentages.
You said
it's not.
90% planner?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
I'm gonna just say 50-50 because, to be honest,
End justifies the means or honorable actions?
90% ends justify the means.
I feel like you'd be on Yasna's side for end justifies the means.
Nope. Nope. She still murdered.
got-
I mean,
She
I'm
got
on
rid
her
of bad
side.
people.
Hey, I'm on her side. Great, you murdered these people. It's still murder.
What do you think, Darkness? End justifies the means or honorable actions?
I'd say like a 75 justifies the means.
Playful or serious?
I'd say like 90% playful.
All right. Tells the truth or bends the truth?
50-50.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
You're gonna have like when it's gonna give you yours, they're all gonna be so close because you chose so many 50-50s, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Alright, Darkness. Tells the truth or bends the truth?
75 tells the truth.
Okay. Likes to take things apart, or if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You're gonna love this, Midnight.
50-50? Oh my gosh. Darkness?
100% likes to take things apart.
Right.
Ooh.
Hotel versus camping?
Hotel,
100%?
75.
I'm gonna go the other opposite, so 75% camping.
Right. Fencing versus boxing?
Boxing,
Boxing.
100%. Yeah.
Ah, but fencing is so cool.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
You said boxing 100%,
4 years.
Mythic?
Yep. Mhm.
I'd go boxing like 90%.
I definitely went fencing. Mine.
Of course you did.
Artistic
That's,
versus scientific?
Artistic, 90%.
Darkness?
Shit. I'll do 50-50.
Book smart versus street smart?
50-50.
Shit. I'd say 75 street smart.
Paladin versus rogue?
Rogue.
100%?
Yeah.
Mythic?
Paladin.
How much?
Paladin, 75%.
Competitive versus casual?
50-50.
75 on competitive.
Transparency versus need to know?
What's the difference?
So if you're fully
Oh,
transparent,
I
you-
know. I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. 100% transparency.
I'd say 60% transparency.
All right, that's the last question.
Alrighty.
All right, where does it give the answer?
I'm all of them, right?
Mythic, you're the same as Kaladin, a windrunner. I will
Of
protect.
course I am. Of course I am.
Darkness, you are will shaper. I seek freedom.
That's
Mm.
facts.
That's facts.
All right, what can I say here?
Get me the fuck out of here.
Windrunners tend to
What
be
does
the
that mean?
big sibling types who want to look out for the defenseless. But they also enjoy action and want to fight for what they believe in. They believe in structures of command, team dynamics, and the importance of a squad of brothers and sisters.
Interesting.
That's what I can tell you about the Windrunners. The Will Shapers have a reputation for attracting builders, craftspeople, and creators. However, they tend to be the most varied order. Their powers lend themselves to creation, but they're also focused on freedom and personal fulfillment.
Wait, when did I get my powers?
Well, I didn't actually say what his powers are. I'm
But
not
you-
telling you what either of the powers are.
But you said powers, though.
But you kind of know both.
His powers did. His powers did what now?
Lend
They're
themselves
tied
to creation, but they're
Yeah.
focused on freedom and personal fulfillment.
So what do my powers do?
Well, they do what Kaladin does.
But what did they do?
I'm not actually telling you what Darkness's powers are here.
Well, no, but I mean, you said it.
Yours lent to
whatever.
protecting
No.
and fighting.
She
Oh, okay, thank
she essentially said I play Clash of Clans, bro.
Clash of Clans.
Many men in the Will Shapers focus on freeing captives, focused on radical self-expression. You like freedom.
Gotcha.
Darkness.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Fits darkness very well.
And then if you want to know about mine,
I don't like the self thing though.
self-fulfillment.
Yeah.
It's you literally. That's one of the questions was.
So yeah, I'm Truth Watcher, which is I will seek truth.
Yeah, I'm
they're
sure.
themed around seeking to find the ultimate truth and sharing it, concerned with knowledge and proper exploitation of it. So yeah, mine's all about.
But you're not truthful though.
I
You
am.
literally lie to us all the time about
Don't.
that you feed the cats.
It's also not
Or
about
that
personal
you're
truth. It's about like the
5 foot-
Truth Watchers
or
are
that you're
about
5
truth.
feet.
Truth Watchers are about like the truth of like the world.
So you're a gossip girl.
No, it's like learning like knowledge of like the past and like of the way things work
Uh-huh.
and sharing it with people.
And it's exposing it to others, knowing damn well that it could either be used in a bad way or a good way. We got a gossiper over here.
Yeah.
Also,
Like a
gossip.
gossip girl. Yeah, 4 foot tall gossip girl.
Also, I mean, we already know that Mythic is related to the protecting leading. The Will Shapers are related to Amethyst, which is resolute / builder.
Yeah. Starting to go build me my home.
It also gives you. Oh, actually, so you're actually only just barely Will Shaper as well. It says you're 58% Will Shaper, 57% Truth Watcher, so you're very close to being a Truth Watcher as well. Whereas Mythic is 68% Windrunner, 67% Stone Ward. Is his second closest.
Oh, Stone Ward. What is a Stone Ward?
Stone Ward. Where's Stone Ward?
It's clearly what Seth is.
What order are these in? I'm just scrolling through them. Stone Ward. I will be there when I'm needed. Focus on team dynamics, or learning to work with others, and on being there for those who need them.
Yeah, I can agree with Stone Ward.
I mean, you're very close. Slightly more Windrunner, but they're very close. Windrunner and Stone Ward. I think I was very much Truth Watcher when I did it. My second closest was Lightweaver.
Which is?
Lightweaver. I will speak my truth. Guess whose that is?
I wonder.
I had truth either way. Personal
Yep.
truth versus exterior truths.
Interesting.
Yes. So yeah, those are your orders. This is the Will Shaper symbol.
This is the meal.
Is
Wait, that's me?
here, I'll get that proper Will Shaper.
You should send a picture of my spren.
Yeah, I'm not
that's
doing
my
that.
spread too.
I'm not doing that. Well, no, Mythic, you know, you would have an honor spread.
No, I want to see what my spread looks like, not what Kaladin's spread looks like.
There. So that is the end of this book. We're gonna quickly end this one off, and then we're gonna do our trailer for Words of Radiance.
Yours looks nasty. It's green.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you.
right.
Glad you appreciate that. All right. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. We'll be back with the trailer. Bye.
Bye.
I